Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Okay, so this is the beginning of Hug It Out number 4. It is a mega episode. Many things happen during this episode. Most of it is unedited. Right now in this studio we have George the Boy Wonder Taylor. We have Ron Marsh of Ron's Trains and Things. Ron, can you give us just a glimpse of what the things are?
The things are giant helix unicycles.
Wow.
You want a picture?
Yeah, send a picture.
For the podcast, a picture for the podcast.
Yeah, a picture for the podcast. Oh, yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. You know what? We had that vote about the photos, and the most popular one was me and little Mike in sitting under a blanket in his Disney World suite. But another very popular photo, which I thought was really, really cute, was Dave Abeley's two boys sitting against a tree while they were train watching. So I think that's the one I went with, because that was a really cute photo. Don't you guys think that was a cute photo? Yeah. Come on.
It did. It was.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely it was.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine if that was me and Tom Jacobs, the Queso Cowboy, sitting under a tree like that, eating pizza? That would be a darling photo, too.
I thought you were going to stay under the blanket.
No, Chris, Chris, I think you need to understand that's reserved for me and little Mike.
I was just going to say I don't want to horn in on little Mike's turf.
Yeah, come on. That's something special that little Mike and I share together. That and sitting in the bathtub together.
You can keep that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Tom, this is something for you to look forward to when we have Tom Stock 2020.
What's that?
A picture of you and me in your bathtub.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You know what?
That's conviction in that one.
I'll be really looking forward to that.
You know what? Tom, just to show you what kind of a guy I am and how much I care about the nation. I understand.
You're going to invite me to your hotel?
Not a chance.
For a picture in your hotel bathtub?
No.
What?
No, not a chance. I won't even tell you where I'm.
Tom, do you like gladiator movies?
Captain, how soon can we land? I can't tell. You can tell me I'm a doctor. No, I mean, I just don't know. Well, can't you take a guess? Not for another 2 hours. You can't take a guess for another 2 hours. Tom, I think because Tom Stock 2020, and you've gone to so much work, and you've been trying, and it's been a difficult thing because of all the crap we've been through. I think I will step aside, and you should take that photo with anybody you want.
Oh, gee. Thank you.
What a privilege.
Thank you. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I'm so touched.
Hello, door prize. Who didn't win a door prize? Okay, well, here it is.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's going to be...
Even if you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That could be. Everybody gets an opportunity to have their photo taken with Tom Jacobs in his bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great idea,
There's
too.
going to be a lot of photos going on between the meet and greet with the Start brothers and the photos with me in the bathtub.
Have you heard any?
You should have the Start brothers in the bathtub with you. Well, that's a photo.
Now that is a photo. Hey, Chris, did you improve your sound audio?
No, I don't notice any difference.
Oh, okay. All right, so this is a gigantic episode, over 3.5 hours long. It was going to be tried to keep it under 2 hours, but we couldn't because there was so much to talk about, so many people to talk about, talk to. We talked to. Let me just pull up the big whiteboard here. We talked to Peter Borchards. Gordy Robinson, Neil Erickson, or his brother Eric Nielsen, Martyn Jenkins. We were going to talk to Tracy Boyd, but we had technical difficulties. Plus, she doesn't think she's that interesting. Can somebody please send her a message and tell her she's more interesting than she's got tons of personality when she's on that plane helping people through the skies, Southwest Airlines. And they have rush seating. I don't fully understand that. Somehow everybody they open the doors and everybody runs down the aisleway. Bruce, we talked to Bruce, the Montreal agitated mailboy, but he's here, and Chris Adams. And it was great fun. And then we got everybody here. Everybody that's here, you'll find out who's here. But it's George and Tom and Chris and Bruce and Kelly. And am I missing anybody? I don't think so. Ron.
Oh, thanks.
And things.
And things. Yeah, because it's always your things. Okay. I think that's it. So guys, we're doing this show. So we need somebody to do Subway Chime Go. All right, come on, you guys. You know what? I need a little bit of.
I'll do it.
No, you know what? First off, I'm not getting a lot. I'm sensing if we're going to do this, it's going to take a couple more minutes. I want each guy. George, what is it they can expect with this show? They should stick around till the bitter end. What is it? What is so great about this show?
Well, I mean, it's no holds barred. I'll tell you that much.
The bar's awful low.
I mean, we learn a lot about my financial habits.
Yes, we did.
None of which are good.
I complimented you on your ability to find good deals.
This is true.
And I stick to that. I will harass you mercilessly about buying your grandfather's car. However, you've made an excellent purchase on behalf of your family, an excellent use of your hard-earned cash. So you should be commended for that.
Well, I appreciate that, Lionel. I really do.
And I will be the first. And those glasses, those big wraparound glasses, are perfect.
And the visor and the Nikes.
Yeah, the visor and Nikes.
And you'll be able to follow every funeral that you pass.
Follow it? Hell, he'll be able to lead it.
People are going to think I bought a hearse.
No, you bought a beautiful 2016 Cadillac with only 30,000 miles on it.
I did.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and notice I never said the actual dollar amount, but you are to be commended for using your family's money very wisely. And that's like you said. It actually takes a lot of elbow grease to find those kind of deals.
Yeah, it does. It just doesn't come to those who don't go seeking those kind of things.
Yeah, so you're gonna be a fine addition to the human race, young man. I'm gonna leave.
Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Ron, tell us something about this show.
This show is filled with lots of fascinating questions and marginally adequate answers.
I don't even know if I give it that.
But we learned a little something about everybody tonight, so that's always good to get to know each other just a little bit better. The people behind the Facebook names and faces that we see all the time.
Yeah.
Put it this way: if you wanted to know us, you're going to know us by the end of this podcast.
Yeah. There you go. Chris, what do we got to tell everybody about this next 3 hours of their life, 3.5 hours of their life?
Probably more than you ever wanted to know about us.
Yeah.
Especially about how we use certain equipment. Yeah, it didn't really come out well. Headphones.
Yeah.
Make sure you put them on properly.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things. And did you enjoy yourself?
Very much.
All right. Tom, the Queso Cowboy, simply known as Agent 0013, a.k.a. the Queso Cowboy. What did you take from this evening?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Nothing good, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned about the Connecticut state legislature. I learned about Georgia's new Cadillac. I learned how everybody is coping with the current pandemic situation. Just got some better insight into how everybody is dealing with these crazy times in which we live.
And also, I'm sure you're going to post on Facebook about this, and there'll be mega pictures and endless posts about it.
Okay. You know what? That's what I'll take away. That's what I'll take away from this. Apparently, the management of the AML network feels that I overshare.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So
there. Well, what about you went in to rob a bank at Ace Hardware?
Yes, we did. We masked up and
we
went
learned
into Ace Hardware.
We learned that you hope that this your life doesn't carry on in the current state because you miss your hospital. Your office mates.
Somehow it's all starting to become clear what I'm really thought of by this bunch.
The sanitarium that he goes to.
Yeah.
It's a hugging jacket.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
right.
You notice for Tom's sake, we only ever do the shows on the weekends.
Yeah, when my day pass is good.
Yeah, exactly. Bruce, anything?
The show is full of plot twists and turns, but hang in for the surprise ending.
I like that. Nice one.
Ooh.
Okay, Kelly, this is it. This is your chance to shine.
This is my chance. So you can't go to the hobby shop because you got to wear a mask or they're not open. You can't go to the club because there's too many people. Listen to the podcast. It'll be just like being there.
Perfect. All right. George, you're pretty good at this. Take us into the next segment there, will you?
All right. Subway chime, go!
So, Peter.
Yeah.
I've decided on short notice that I'm going to do Let's Hug It Out number 4.
Okay.
Because it seems to me that there's much strife and unhappiness and concern and hand-wringing and what have you around the world. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, it might be everybody seemed to enjoy those other Let's Hug It Out ones. So I thought, hey, I'm going to, on short notice, like, so this is unedited, like, don't say anything that you don't want repeated, like, you know, what kind of your underwear size or anything like that, or your shoe size. So before we carry on, you're the very first guest on this.
Oh, that's a great honor.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And we're not going to talk for terribly long because we're going to kind of go around the globe and try to check in with as many people as we can. And then because I don't have to edit it, I'll just glue it all together.
Yeah.
And put it out on Monday, July 13th. I believe
that would be, that's correct. 13th. Yeah.
Yeah. Today is dinner time in Eastern North America. And right now it's 11:30 at night for you.
11:30 in the United Kingdom. That's correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
In the south of the United. So before we go forward, I know you've followed the podcast since the early days. You're a huge fan. You're a huge part of the podcast. You're on the supporting crew page. So could you help me? Do you know if this is the first podcast since the last podcast?
I think, from what I remember from my notes last time, I think it actually is. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, definitely. All
right, because sometimes when we do these short notice ones, you try to squeeze them in and you can't remember. Or...
Yeah, that's why you need to make notes. Make sure you've written down what the last one was to make sure it's the first one since the last one. So you can't get them mixed up.
That's what I need to do is make notes.
Well, that's why you got a mail boy. He does the notes.
Yeah, that's it. Why don't I start keeping notes? Ken Ziska would be thrilled if I started keeping notes.
Very true.
Yeah. Sorry, Ken, that's not going to happen. So anyways, I've contacted Neil Erickson, and we're going to talk to Gordy, our buddy Gordy Robinson, and I contacted you and Martyn Jenkins, and later on we're going to talk to Tracy Boyd, the official flight attendant of the AML Network.
Brilliant. That'd be good.
Tom Jacobs, and of course Bruce the Mailboy, and Chris Adams. But we're gonna glue it all together in one giant unedited version of the podcast. Hug It Out number 4. So how are you? So I thought, it seemed to make people feel better when this whole mess started. So I thought, let's do this. This is like, all of a sudden, I just thought, this is what we need to do again. So what's new? What's news in your part of the world? You're in the south of England.
Southeast officially, southeast of England.
Right, and you're
west of London.
Yeah.
But yeah, so starting to get back. Well, not normal, but starting to get back to work again. So spending more time in the office each week. So I'm working in my home office, but also in my main office, which is 15 minutes down the road. So I'm starting to spend more time down there, and thankfully work is picking up, which is good.
Yeah.
But on the bad side, it means I've got less time to spend on the model railroading bit, which I actually haven't been doing at all in the last 3 months because I've been so busy doing other stuff. It's amazing what you can find to do at home when you're at home all day.
Yeah.
So that's the only problem. So now I need to try and find some time for the model railroading.
You haven't started to write a cookbook, I hope, and gone in direct competition with your wife, Lucy Young.
No, I was trying to get get a rival TV show.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, so there you go.
I'm trying to ramp up my my YouTube channel to see if I can convert it into network. Sell it to the networks.
So what's I know you won't mind me asking. What's life like for her and the TV? Is that just all shut down?
Yeah, they're starting up again in August. They're going to start filming again, but it's literally been shut down until then. They were meant to be filming in when was it, June, July, I think. That all got shut down. In fact, I think they were meant to start in May. They were meant to do some films. Well, not films, some
TV
filming. Yeah, but they're starting again in August. But very, very carefully organized. They're doing it in groups so that if someone in a group gets infected or something like that, they can just isolate that one group instead of isolating everyone.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So you got a camera person and a sound person in each group, so it's a different way of doing things, but they've been very, very careful in the production industry, TV production.
You know Lucy pretty well, don't you?
I would hope so.
Yeah, you guys have been married for a while. She tolerates you.
Yeah, that would be the word, I think. Yeah. Tolerates would be a good word.
So
for that,
I know my friend Tony Cook has been, and he's been slowly over the years trying to work on John Menard to get me a qualifying run at Indianapolis. Is there, Lucy pretty well, Lucy Young, is her stage name, I guess, her book writing name. Yeah. Any chance you could maybe get me a bit part on that show?
I'm sure I can see what I can do. I mean, I've got myself a bit part on it, so
right.
Not this particular one coming up, but the previous one I have. So I'm sure I can get you on it. Yeah, I'm sure I can do that.
Yeah, I'd jump on.
I'll put in a word for you.
Yeah, because I can jump on a plane. I'll be there in no time flat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, except you're still not allowed in.
I think actually,
I think Canadians are.
Yes, slow down. Canadians are very much allowed. We're allowed all over the world. I don't think any. I don't
southern border lot on.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's allowed into Australia, but I think the British are the colonies are very much welcome back in Britain.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Sounds like it.
Well, yeah, with my British heritage and everything, I think I'd fit right. Well, didn't I see you in one of those shots? From one of the beaches, a couple of weeks ago, the beaches were so packed. Didn't I see you in one of those? Prancing?
Yeah, I was sort of just left of center, So if you look carefully, you'll see me over there. Yeah.
Do you guys have to wear a mask everywhere?
Not at the moment. No, I mean, I wear one when I go into the shops anyway. But they're talking about. I've just seen a news article tonight. They're talking about making it compulsory, possibly in Scotland. They have. So Gordy has to. But because England and Scotland, Wales all run separately, they've got their little separate governments as well. In England at the moment it's not compulsory, but they're looking at possibly making it compulsory. There have been a couple of flare-ups. So
there's always a flare-up wherever I am. Of course, that's an entirely different subject altogether. So generally, though, you and your wife and your little life is carrying on pretty much normal, other than
getting back to normal sort of ish. We had drinks with one of our neighbours this afternoon, early evening. So that was quite good. It was our next door neighbor and friends of theirs. So it was 6 of us having a nice
That's good.
catch up, which was good. So I was starting to get back to work normally, get back to normal things.
That's good.
Slowly.
So all right, let's see. You got a minute. You got 30 seconds. You got 90 seconds left.
Okay.
If I don't do this in some sort of regimented fashion, this will turn into a 5-hour podcast. So just quickly, tell us you've been making videos about the railroad you want to build.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm actually halfway through the next one, slightly overdue as usual, but yeah, I'm just going through the steps of building a new model railroad. So, just documenting it right from the beginning, rather just get everyone see exactly what's involved with all the research and the decisions I'm making as I go along. As I want to build the layout that I want to have, build the railroad that I want to have. Make sure I make the right decisions and let everyone see what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Positive comments so far, which is good. So everyone seems to be enjoying it.
So if they go on YouTube and they look for...
That's a good question. What do they look for? Oh, BNSF. I've changed it so many times. BNSF Chicago sub in N scale.
BNSF.
So, BNSF Chicago sub in N scale.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that right now.
I should get to it.
I'll
do it as well. Make sure I get there.
BNSF Chicago sub.
N scale.
You keep changing it. Why do you keep changing? Can you change? You can't.
Well, it used to be Rochelle's modal. Then obviously with the old one. Then I moved the channel to a different part of YouTube, and then it decided it didn't like me using my old username. I had to use a different.
I've been doing some more research on my new model railroad.
Messed it all up for myself.
Okay, there I found you. There you go. You got 750 subscribers basically.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of videos and usually a lot of times you manage to stick in an AML thing there, which is always cool.
Oh, I try my best. Yeah, and the latest one I'm at least wearing my t-shirt again. The Models Life t-shirt, the blue one.
I need to send you another one.
So, yeah. Oh, good. Well, I'm a £10 patron now, so hopefully I'll get one.
I know.
I decided to stump up the money.
I saw that where you did that at Springfield.
Yes.
Yeah, I was very much appreciative, and that continues to. All right, I'm sorry, you're out of time.
Oh.
Is there any message you want to send off to the AML Nation?
Well, just keep on doing what you guys are doing, and as usual, as everyone says, stay safe.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's Tony's always bugging me because he always the one that drives me nuts is we're all in this together, and I'm like, well, yeah, but if you're on TV making $1 bazillion, I don't know if I'm in it together, kind of like you are.
Very true. Very
You're
true.
together is a different version of mine. Hey, can you yell out Gordy for me?
Gordy.
Well, shouldn't we activate the cone of silence?
So, Gordy, I was just talking to Peter Borchardt.
Cool.
He's in the south of England.
He is in the south of England.
You're in Scotland, which is like 15, 20 miles from the south of England?
Nearly 2 hours difference of sunlight on the longest day of the year. So quite different.
How long would it take you because you got to take a ferry and everything? How long would it actually take you to get to the south of England?
Oh, Peter. Probably about 16 or 17 hours, depending on traffic.
Yeah. So you could make it in a long, long day.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I could do it in a day. Yeah.
Gordy, so I came up with this idea that I was going to do Let's Hug It Out 4, but it's unedited, so we have to be careful how we talk.
Right.
So I was just talking to Peter, and he yelled for you, and now you're here. And because the AML Nation seemed to enjoy the Hug It Out, and a couple of days ago I thought, you know what? This will be like an emergency Let's Hug It Out, and we're going to talk to Peter and Gordy and Martyn Jenkins and Neil Erickson and Tracy and Tom Jacobs and Kaylee and Chris Adam. We're going to talk to everybody and see if we can't cheer up the AML Nation. Not that it's uncheery, but I think it's everybody's kind of getting stressed the way the world's going right now.
Mm-hmm.
How's life? Go ahead.
I see that. Life's good.
Well, all right. So what's like in Scotland? You guys, you live in the island of Burray, which is part of the Orkneys, which is in the north of Scotland, which is in the North Atlantic. So have you guys even noticed any COVID stuff up there?
Yes. Yeah, we've been lucky. We've had 9 cases, 2 deaths. We've not had a case for a month, but it's hit the economy hard because tourism's a big economy. But no, we've got off pretty lightly. We've got a few. But now the borders are opened up to come to Orkney at the beginning of the week, and so we're starting to see tourists arriving. So there's a little bit of a worry in the local community about that, but otherwise they've got off pretty lightly, really.
Do you guys have to wear a mask all the time?
If you go into a store, yes.
Okay. If you
go on public transport, yes. If you go out for a walk, no. To be fair, it's pretty. We can go out for a walk with a dog and not meet another person, so it's not really required to wear a mask when you go for exercise or anything. But
and do you feel like you might not be another person because it's a low population, or because people are trying to avoid you?
Just low population. The biggest difference is it's not because of people trying to avoid me.
Oh, okay.
That one was going deep to the warning track.
Yeah, when you've got 400 people who live on an island, right? It's easy to not bump into someone, depending when you go for a walk.
Is there only 400 people on your island?
Yeah.
Do you have a pub or anything on your island?
We do. We do have a pub. Pub reopened on Monday, or the beer garden did, and it was 65-mile-an-hour winds. It was there were six locals braving it, and they're actually breaking up a boat that's sank on the pier, and it's about 50 feet from the beer garden, and it's a 80-year-old fishing boat that smells like an 80-year-old fishing boat, and there was bits of splinters of it flying across the front of the pub at 65-mile-an-hour wind. But that did not deter the 6 Orcadians who decided to go for a pint after work on Monday. So,
what was Bruce? Was that you that came into the studio?
Maybe.
Well, speak up.
Who's asking?
Well, so Bruce, what I decided to do is I'm having an emergency. Let's hug it out.
Yes.
And I know you're going to be on the big part, but you're here organizing everybody, all the guests. You're getting them all organized. So I'm giving everybody like 10 minutes. Otherwise, the thing will turn into a 5-hour extravaganza. So
yeah. Well, what's your point?
Well, somebody has to put that 5-hour extravaganza together. And in the last segment, Peter and I were talking about the fact that Ken Ziska likes me to keep notes.
All right.
And that's never going to happen. So the more...
to Pete's to Ken, have you got a pad of sticky notes there?
I got a sticky...
Okay, well, just write on your sticky note, take notes, and stick it on your computer. There you're taking notes.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Okay, Gordy, you got about 5 minutes left. So tell us you're all excited because starting tomorrow, today is Friday, July, what?
10.
And starting tomorrow or starting on Sunday is what?
So starting on Sunday is Gateway X. I don't know whether I'm excited or apprehensive at this point, but Gateway X, which will be a 7-day virtual model railroading convention. Probably it's not the first model railroading convention because we've done a few now, but certainly the biggest one we've done. It starts on Sunday. Runs through till Saturday the 18th of July, and it'll be 8 a.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern, non-stop clinics, roundtable discussion groups, presentations, speeches, all sorts of stuff. It's going to be great. It's going to be like the best thing we could do in the circumstances to give people a bit of a feel of a national convention.
There's going to be speeches?
Well,
put the beer down. Gordy, put the beer down, for crying out loud.
Well, I have to just keep lubricated, yeah. So we all have to be lubricated. So, yes, just like any convention, we are going to do on Saturday a virtual banquet. We're going to encourage people to take their laptops to their dinner tables and watch as Tony Cook and guests do an after-dinner speech on the wonderful thing that is N-Scale.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be a short speech then.
Yeah, it'll be a short.
It's going to be a small one, yeah. Otherwise, we've got some presentations on future face-to-face conventions as well, which are kind of not speeches, but not really a clinic. I don't know what to tell them. Describe them as. But
not too long after this one, you've got the SCR one coming up, right?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so we're working with the Southeast region of the NMRA to provide them with a virtual convention, but that'll be 3 clinic streams, so 3 live streams taking place at the same time, and it'll be at least 30 hours. We might have 40 to 50 hours. We've got so many clinicians and vendors wanting to take part, so we just running out of computers to run live streams on. But yeah, you're looking at quite a big event on July 25th. So if you're only just listening, when you're listening to this, you've missed Gateway X, then there'll be the SCRX on July 25th. So it's quite a lot going on. I've never been as busy.
There you go. That's good. You're helping push the hobby forward. So I have a question for you, because you got a lot of you've got a lot of people you've asked to participate and take part in the whole operation. Not me. I was never asked. So are you concerned about social distancing in these things? Will each presenter be asked to wear a mask, or?
No, so we've implemented, the great thing about this is that there's no smelly vision. So you know the old one of social distances in is if you can smell someone's fart, then you're too close. Well, with this one, if you won't be able to smell someone else's fart, guaranteed. So it's safe.
Perfect.
So we're not worried about it.
So I can load up on the Brussels sprouts and cabbage and not be a problem.
Exactly. You get that sauerkraut ready, you'll be fine.
All right. So you're excited about that. You're wearing your mask out in public places. Is there a pub right on your island?
Yeah, we just talked about that. There's a pub literally 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that, and then you started talking about the boat being splintered up. And
yeah, well, the people were still sitting there drinking beer, so it's pretty resilient, the pub. But yeah, there's a pub on the island.
But there's only 400 people on the whole island. How does the pub make a living with only 400 people?
Have you ever been to Scotland? You ever been to the Orkneys? There's not a lot to do up there.
I didn't even get invited to be a placeholder on the Gateway X.
So you said to us that you were our emergency person, and if we needed you, you'd be there. So we don't want to go to the Alamo position as a default lineup. So
I hear all these people being on round tables and everything, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun.
They got you set up for the triangular table.
Yeah. I'm at the table out in the hallway.
Yeah, the little kids table at the end.
I think it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are pretty excited about it, Gordy. I think you've done a hell of a job.
I hope so, because it's just anything that can bring a little bit of light at the moment is all good. But we are taking August off.
Oh, yeah, really?
We are. We're having August off to work on our own layouts.
That's crazy talk.
It is. We may not be off for the whole. We might roll the triangular table out and do an evening of something, but certainly we won't be doing any big events during August and the first half of September. Just we need a break. I was saying this to somebody earlier tonight. 100 hours at the moment. Each person that's involved majorly in Gateway X. That's the whole four of the main team. Already 400 hours. Next week, I've got the schedule. I know what everyone's doing. No one's doing less than 80 hours sat in front of a computer to support the event next week. So it's
I know what I'm doing. Nothing.
You are. You're going to sit in front of YouTube and watch every single minute, aren't you? You're not going to miss a minute.
We'll have to have
105 hours.
We'll have to have a hot watch. Okay, you're out of time.
You can tune in a Wednesday night at 7:00 and listen to my clinic.
Yeah. You're out of time, Gordy. Yeah, so we're not doing Subway Chime Go. The next person up is Neil. So can you holler for Neil, please? Just yell as loud as you can for Neil Erickson.
Aloha, Neil. That's as loud as I can.
And guess what? Neil?
I can't guess. You press the button.
There you go, atta buddy. Can you tell me? We've already talked to Peter Borchardt. And then we went up to Scotland and we talked to Gordy Robinson, who's busy getting the NMRAX ready. And now we're talking to Neil Erickson from all the way in Hilo, Hawaii. And Neil, can you help me out here? And do you mind if I call you Eric Nielsen?
Why not? Everybody else does.
Can you tell me if this is the first segment since the last segment?
I keep all that on my phone. I don't think so, because I think he recorded one. No, you're right. I think it is.
Are you at the Starbucks again?
No, I was inside I'm going to go back in the lobby, even though I don't have a mask on. So people are going to give me stink eye.
Where are you?
I'm at work. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you better now.
All right, I'm just going to stand in here and they can give me.
Well, it's only we're gonna do this quick because what we're doing. So I came up with this idea. And by the way, the other person in the room, if you don't recognize who it is, it's Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy.
Hey, Bruce.
Good evening or day, whatever time it is.
Well, you guys sound fabulous. I'm filled, overwhelmed.
Yeah, I sound fabulous, and I look fabulous too. It's the AML Nation. When you're part of the AML Nation, everybody looks good. So Neil, here's the idea I had. Tell me if this is a good idea or a bad idea. So I kind of came up with this brainwave like a night or 2 days ago or a day ago, and I thought, everybody liked those Hug It Out episodes so much, and the world seems to be in turmoil right now. So I thought we're going to do an emergency Hug It Out. So this won't be edited, so don't screw up. And I thought we'll throw this all together over the next couple of days, and we'll release it on Monday, July 13th, which is like 2 days from now. And I wanted to try to get as many people that the AML Nation knows and loves to kind of give everybody an indication of how well they're doing and how they're coping, and maybe offer support to those that are out there and stuff like that. So how are you?
Great.
Yeah. So,
I get to. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
It's still crazy over here. People are very, very cautious. The number of cases are rising every day. So I think all of us realize this is real. It's not some made up thing. So I'm a little stressed about it just because my staff makes me stressed. We got a bunch of plexiglass up on the counter, and it helps a little, I suppose. But we're all wearing gloves and masks. Of course, I'm not right now. You can't drink wine, I'm not drinking wine at work.
Yeah. Don't be drinking wine at work. And right now, the time right now in Hawaii is 1 p.m.
That's correct.
In Hilo, Hawaii, just down the road from where you're. Okay, so all right, so you're wearing gloves and masks. You're kind of because you work in. We can remind everybody that you work as basically a building inspector on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Actually, I am responsible for all the permits and plan reviews, so I don't get involved in inspections much.
Okay, so you're the guy
Yeah.
So you're the guy that I bring in a plan and say, hey, Neil, I want to build a 20 by 20 shed. Hey, I want to build a 20 by 36 pole barn to house a mushroom-style model railroad that's going to be of the Reading cross line, and you're the guy that decides whether or not I get a permit.
Will it have 2 levels or just 1 level?
It's going to have 2 levels. There'll be 3 or 4 stairs up to the second level.
Well, you should be aware that if it's got 4 stairs, you're going to need a grab rail. So those kind of.
There you go. Exactly. If you got 4, so 3 stairs, you don't need a grab rail. 4 stairs, you're going to need a grab rail.
There you go.
So you do you put when somebody's plan isn't approved, you just put a big red X through it?
I usually give them a chance to work it out, and I give them a big hint where to look in the code. And I'm not really the guy who reviews a lot of plans. I have 6 guys under me that do that, and I get the ones that are too hard or people have questions.
What exactly do you do, Neil? It seems like always seems like a lot of cloudy areas when we're talking to you. What exactly? Why don't you just tell us the truth? What is it you really do?
Well, I talk on the radio, and good question. I think my boss gave me a blank sheet of paper and he said, "We're just going to fill this in as we go, okay? And that'll be your job description."
So how long? So what is the county name? So is the whole island one big county?
Yeah, we don't have any other municipalities. Each island in the state is a county. So even Honolulu is the city and county of Honolulu.
Okay. So
which is strange.
Yeah, that's strange. So what is does the Big Island have a county name, or is it just?
It's just we are the island of Hawaii, the county of Hawaii, right? So
okay.
That's the only name. Yeah.
So you're the big cheese in the county.
I have lots of bosses, including every month in the public.
Well, you're one of the big cheeses.
I'm still a civil servant.
Yeah,
I am.
You're more than a slice.
I'm probably less civil than servile.
Say, hey, are you involved in Gateway X at all?
Yes, I think they're reposting I think they pre-recorded my clinic, and they're going to be using that. And then I'll be on a roundtable on Sunday, 5 p.m. your time.
What a roundtable is that?
Yeah, you have to ask. I think it's your first model railroad.
So go ahead. So it's your round table is about your first model railroad.
Yeah, so it's for people who are going to call in. I believe we're going to talk about what was your first model railroad, what did you do, and how did you progress from that? What lessons were learned. And honestly, it seems like every model railroad I do is my first model railroad. It seems like the hobby is changing so rapidly; it's hard to keep up.
What's your favorite innovation in the hobby in the last 10 years?
Well, I think you know that it's radio control of locomotives, so it's direct control. I love that idea.
I think I'm gonna Neil.
Yes, sir.
I hope this doesn't affect our friendship.
Done.
I hope this doesn't.
We're done.
But honest to God, I don't keep track of what your likes and dislikes are. So,
well, I like talking to Ralphie boy, and he and I were online yesterday, so that was a lot of fun.
Hey, can you find out why he's mad at me? Ralph's mad at me for some reason, and I don't know why. I've done something to him, and he's particularly angry at me right now.
No, I'm not going to speak for Ralph, but I think it would be really great if you did a little hug it out.
Well, I don't even know what I don't even know what I did.
Well,
is it like the old that line?
I don't know.
Well,
I feel like I'm married to the guy or something.
You guys have been friends for so long, and it's just like my brother and I. We joke back and forth, and we give each other a lot of BS. And at some point, you can cross the line, and it's really hard when you can't see people's facial expressions, how the other person is responding. And so maybe you should just talk it out, hug it out. You need to hug it out.
I haven't known him that long. I've only known him a few years, and then somehow I've offended him, and I have no idea what it is.
I thought you were brothers from another mother, just like you and Bruce.
Now, Bruce puts up with a lot of my crap. And Bruce and I have been friends for going on 30 years. And pretty much nothing will. I can make a smart ass remark to Bruce, and he can get mad at me. But by a day and a half later, we're going, hey, you want to go over to Deb's for lunch? That's pretty much it. I've never had to have this kind of I have no idea why Ralph is mad at me. He was, for some reason or other, I don't have any of these kind of, I don't know what you call. I know.
I can change.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you can find out. And the other thing I need to know, Neil, if you don't mind, is I didn't get asked to be involved in Gateway X at all. So I'm wondering if I've made Gordy mad.
I think Gordy loves you. In fact, you introduced me to Gordy. That's the only reason I'm involved.
Well, maybe that's why he's mad at me.
There you go.
Shall I apologize now or later?
No. I'm good. So this is this is exactly what we wanted to do. So everybody's only getting 10 or 12 minutes. It's kind of like, so you're coming to the end of your time. So just give us some sort of something to carry us forward for everybody out. So you're okay. So let's go this direction. So as far as we know right now, you and your wife and your family are okay.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
I actually been listening to my backlog of Patreon, and Jason Strong said something that really hit home, and I think that we all need to show gratitude. And that really hit me, and I realized all the crap going on in the world right now, we need to look at the things that are good in our life.
Yeah. And aside from your wife and family, what's the next thing that you really appreciate? Oh my God!
The online presence of other modelers, and you've talked about this a lot. It has brought us together, and in ways that I can't express. I think that Ralph even said it once. If it wasn't for what we do online, the way we can communicate, like we're doing now, that I probably wouldn't have come back to the hobby.
There you go.
I think it's really important. So those two things are great. By the way, my brother-in-law has been really sick, and he tested negative, but it's been about 3 weeks with a really severe flu to the max.
Well, let's hope your brother-in-law is hanging in there, and let's all keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you checking in. I mean, it's every day is a new day, and this weekend, if you can tune into the roundtable, it'd be really fun to hear some questions from someone who has a lot of experience building first layouts.
I never even got asked. I don't understand what I did to Gordy. Would you like another try?
Well, you know.
Yeah. So
there's a couple slots available for being on roundtables, and I don't remember if Dave Abeles was on one of those, but it was technology. And,
oh, there you go. Yeah, technology.
Maybe he can't share too much about his new book, but wouldn't that be
technology be perfect for
oh, yeah.
Well, he wrote the book on DCC, so hello.
Neil, can we just finish with this? You do know that I'm a doofus, right? Like, I understand that I like, you understand that, right? Like, you've got to try to grasp that as you go forward in life.
I have a brother, but he's not so dim-witted.
All right, Ty, you got a job now. We're moving on from you to Marty Jenkins. So we need you to yell for Marty. So go, do it.
Marty, come in. Are you out there? Oh, you know why? He's still just had breakfast.
The FM sounds of Martyn Jenkins.
Yeah. Hits and memories
from the Gold Coast.
Can I talk?
No.
No.
Oh, are we doing something?
I already hit the button. It's
sorry.
You hit the button.
Yeah,
you did.
This is the first segment since the last segment. So this is a bit. This one we might give it. I've been sticking to 10 minutes, and then we had a different one that you'll hear later that ended up being 13 minutes, but it's kind of disturbing.
Oh, no.
So we have, really quickly, we have David Start working on the memberships for the Erie Lackawanna Society. We have Chris Adams, who's carefully adjusted his headphones. You don't have a nickname yet, do you, Chris? Oh, you're Mr. Fit. You're Mr. Fitness.
No, well,
Mr. Fit.
Yeah, Mr. Fitness. Yeah.
Mentally fit.
Maybe we got to call him Mr. Headphone now.
Long face. Long face.
Deep chin.
Deep chin.
sounds like a James Bond character.
Man travel many miles across open land. Chief Deep Chin.
This is just going to get better and better.
Oh, dear.
So anyways, Chris from Old Saybrook. Deep chin, long face, Mr. Fitness. Backwards. And we got Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy. And Martyn, so this is your segment, because what I'm doing is an emergency edition of Let's Hug It Out 4, because things around the world seem to be kind of unraveled for this week. And I thought, you know what? I will take out the All-Star Variety Hour 24, I think it is, and I'll move it back a couple of weeks, and we'll make an emergency edition of All-Star, or of the Let's Hug It Out number 4, and there's no editing. That way I can make it really fast. So we've already talked to Peter Borchert, and then we talked to Gordy Robinson, and then we talked to Neil Erickson, or Eric Nielsen, and then Bruce and I talked, and then we talked to Tracy Boyd, who's the, no, she'll be after you. That's Martyn Jenkins, and then it'll be Tracy Boyd, so we don't even need to bother mentioning her. She's out there flying. She's out there flying around. She's out there flying around.
She's the holding pattern.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's out there helping with rush seating on Southwest jets. I mean,
pointing out the entrances to the plane.
I truly hope I can figure out a way to find a plane that she's on and just show up. Give her the full Lionel experience.
Well, speaking of aircraft, do you realise today, if this COVID thing hadn't kicked off, in about an hour and a half, I'd be getting on a big silver bird to head to Chicago, and then another one to head down to St. Louis. So I would have been preparing myself for 16 hours of cattle class, all the way from Brisbane to Chicago on the new Qantas flight, which now doesn't go.
And when you get the exit row with the extra leg room?
Oh, no, they charge you extra for that.
Oh, come on. The extra leg room seat is like $100.
Not on an international flight for 16 hours.
All right. What do they charge for the extra leg room, the emergency row?
To go to premium economy, or the next one up where you got more leg room and a slightly bigger seat, they want nearly twice the economy price.
And what's the economy price?
About $1,400, $15,000.
$1,500.
Yeah, well, depends. Mine was 1,500 to get to St. Louis.
Okay, but they also have halfway back through the plane, they have the emergency exit for the wing. And there's more legroom there, and you can usually pay a slight premium to get that seat.
Yeah, they want about $300, $400.
Don't you think enough of yourself to have extra legroom for 3 or 4 or
No,
16?
because when I get on a plane to do 16 hours, I don't go to bed for 2 days. That way, when I get on there, that's it. I'm out to sleep, and I'll see you in Chicago.
Well,
he has a valid point there.
Yeah, I just work.
I'd rather spend the extra money when I get to the States.
You know what?
I could buy another suitcase for all the stuff you buy.
I just work.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I just work harder and don't beat my. And besides, I'm very delicate. I have to have the bigger seating and better seating because I'm very delicate. I'm like a delicate flower.
Or is it because you're a person of size?
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's a bit of a mirror. I mean, if Chris is Mr. Fitness, what's the opposite end of the scale? That's me.
I'm a strikingly handsome.
Wow.
Okay.
So the idea for this, Martyn, is we've talked to Peter Borchers in the south of England. We've talked to Gordy Robinson in Scotland, in Burray Island. We've talked to Neil Erickson on the Big Island of Hawaii and Hilo. And now we're talking to you because we want to find out. We're trying to gather all the nation, so many people from the nation together and let the nation know that you're doing all right and what's happening in Australia as far as this whole mess. Like, how are you standing up? How are you managing to deal with it?
Well, I'm standing up quite well to it. I mean, everything's basically gone back to sort of normal here now. All the restaurants and public places are opened up. I mean, Australia's been pretty lucky. I mean, we haven't been hit with the numbers that you guys have been hit with. So, although there has been a big outbreak down in Melbourne, so they've locked down Melbourne basically. But I mean, a big outbreak would be nothing compared to the figures that are coming out of the US or came out of Italy or Spain or anywhere like that. So things have been pretty good here. We've been on, I think it's level 2 in Queensland now, so it means everything, bar the borders, is basically open. You just got to do social distancing, which is a bit funny because they've opened up our local rugby club and we went for dinner there last night, and to do the social distancing rules, there's like one table with about 20 feet all the way around it before the next table. So it feels like you're sitting in the middle of an arena with one little table for 2 people and the next person's about 4 miles away.
But other than that, it's going okay.
But other than that, we seem to be going okay. As they keep saying, the curve's flattened. They're in the next month, they're talking about opening up the borders of Queensland with the other states because we're not next to Victoria, which is where the outbreak that they've had in the last week or so has occurred. But they'll lock that down. They'll knock that on the head down there.
You know that those of us in Canada have. Oh, my mic's off. You know that I was on mute because Bruce wasn't.
Yeah.
Those of us in Canada can travel to Europe. I can't drive 2 hours to Buffalo, but I can fly to Switzerland.
Well, that's the funny thing, because I see in the future the US has been the last place that the government here is going to let us travel to. You can already, they're opening up the bubble between New Zealand, so you're about to fly to New Zealand. And I think they're opening up Singapore and a couple of the Asian cities, so you can flights will resume back there again. But the biggest problem we got at the moment is the fact that all the states are shut down. There's the domestic airlines, and the airlines are really being hit hard by that because there's basically only one plane a day flying where there used to be 20 or 30 planes.
Yeah. Now's the time to go.
Well, you can't get in there. That's the problem. We live about 20 minutes drive from the border with New South Wales, and if I drive down there at the moment, all the roads are sealed off. The police are there. They did have the army there for a while. stopping everybody from going unless you had good reason to be going into New South Wales. You weren't told to turn around and go back.
I don't know this for sure. I was told this, but I was told that if you drive to Buffalo, the border crossing at Buffalo, and show your special Nexus card and tell them that your home in Florida has had a plumbing problem and there's flooding and you need to go there, they don't seem that interested.
According to a friend.
Yeah, according to a friend. And then if you show up a couple of weeks later with the attitude or with the story that you have a internationally listened to podcast and you prearranged interviews with certain people, that doesn't work either.
That doesn't cut it either.
No.
Same guy.
Yeah, same guy. But it was worth a try. All right, so you're doing okay then.
Yeah, we're doing well. I've managed to get a lot of work done. Although I probably would have got more work done on my layout if Gordy hadn't started up this NMRAX thing, because I've been editing. I seem to edit videos all the time now.
And how long does that take you to do an actual video?
Well, one of the 12-hour sessions each night will chip away at a bit, and it usually takes me about a week to get through all 12 hours.
Okay. And because what are you editing? The sound or the beginning and the end, or?
Well, we make a little lead-in video and a little outro video, and we add that to it, and then because it's a live stream, sometimes the show doesn't kick off at the right time or whatever, so you got to do a bit of trimming here and there. I must say there was one I had to edit out where someone actually swore during the podcast, and I must say proudly it was an Australian that did it.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Yeah.
So did you throw the equivalent of the Rochester's Americans Goldhorn in?
No. Actually, all I did is I just chopped it out, chopped the audio out, and you wouldn't even know. But I didn't want to steal all of the gimmicks that I've learned over the years from listening to certain podcasts.
So, Martyn, did you know that Ralph is mad at me?
Is he?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I thought Ralph was mad.
Well, yeah, he's mad at me, apparently. He's mad at me, apparently. Neil Erickson knows why, but he won't tell me because Ralph seems to think that I know, and he's waiting for me to apologize.
But
the problem is I don't know what it is.
No, well,
I was hoping maybe you would.
Where are we going to start?
Good question. Of course, now you realize the problem now, Lionel, is the fact you said you don't know, even if you apologize now, you said, well, you're not apologizing because you don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're done. You're done unless you come up with a specific answer.
Oh, we'll have to do some investigating.
Do some investigating, anyway. And I got
the crack AML investigator team.
Yeah. Well,
do you know David?
No, I do not know.
When was the last time you talked to Ralph?
It's probably been close to a month.
Yeah, because he won't talk to anybody. He won't talk to me, anyways. It's all very fuzzy. Do you know Chris?
Oh,
Chris is on mute. Oh.
Yeah, I'm off mute now. I'm asking Gert if we can redo the sound check. I've got a new setup.
That's right.
Don't do that. I've been sitting here putting together all the scenes for the next week, and every 5 minutes I get another. Oh, there's been a change on Wednesday. Oh, great! Here we go. I got to go and change all the graphics again, re-upload them.
Just keep using. Just keep using.
Trust me, Martyn. I think you want this change.
We're not. We can't tell you.
Just saying.
We can't tell you who, Martyn. But in searching out the best audio for the AML network, we may have discovered somebody's been wearing their headset backwards.
Oh dear.
But we can't tell you. We can't tell you.
Can you imagine such a thing?
We can't
telling for a friend.
Yeah, we're telling him for a friend.
Now we can see, however, I have mine in the right, and then Dave started as a microphone. Lionel's got the boom mic. You've got a mic. It's obviously not you because this is before we started talking to you. So, but we don't know for sure who may have had the issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't imagine.
And the other thing I want to do, first I want to say how proud I am of you and Gordy and Brad Anderson and Speed, and who else am I leaving out?
And Jordan.
And Jordan. So it's a basic.
Yeah, when we can drag him away from his girlfriend.
Okay. So it's you and Gordy and Speed and Brad and Jordan are the main guys doing this thing.
Yep. And I think this week we may have some special guest announcers coming in. So
okay, well that was kind of what I was getting to, because I believe I am in awe of the job you've done for the NMRA and for the hobby. I think what you've done is spectacular, and I can never thank you enough. But
thank you.
But somehow I've been completely passed over, and I wonder if I've done something to Gordy or you.
No. We've actually got a couple of special little tricks up our sleeve for you. We've got some premiums. We got some premium interviews for you to conduct. One's with a what could I say? I haven't spoken to him yet, but he's given a tacit agreement to it. But one's an Australian YouTuber. It's just clicked over the 1 million mark in his YouTube channel.
Oh, Luke Town?
Mr. Luke, yeah, he's just joined our NMRA division here in Queensland. So I'm waiting for him he's starting on the AP program at the moment, getting his paperwork and bits and pieces done, and we're going to let him go for a little bit. And then I thought, well, that'd be good to get Lionel to do an interview with Luke. We don't want him to do a clinic because that's what he does on his channel. But it'd be great to get him on to talk about how he got from, how many people did he have when you first interviewed him, Lionel? 30-something odd?
30,000, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's up at 1 million.
Yeah.
And that kind of leaves every other model railway YouTuber in the dust. I mean, the next one back is people like Ron Marsh and Ken Patterson, and they're in the tens of thousands, 30,000 or so. It's still a long way from 1 million.
Yeah, that's right. Ron's at 30, Ken's at 10, and then James Wright, he's at 50.
Yeah, so those guys are like 3 laps down.
Yeah,
and Dirk's at 4.
Dirk. Now I got it. See, we're no editing on this. Think about what you're saying.
Yep. But he is.
I understand. So, okay, this seems very fuzzy to me. I've had no contact from anybody. Don't be just sucking up to me. I mean, if you guys don't want me, I understand. I get it.
We do. Well, look, I tell you what. At the moment, I've got the schedule here, and we do have a vacancy for 4 sessions of hosting.
Oh, geez, that seemes like a lot.
On Monday morning
Lionel doesn't do mornings.
Yeah.
10 from 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock on Monday.
What do I got to do?
Well, first you got to be up by 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, first you have to be up.
I think he's off the package.
Yeah. Could you push
it? Have anything a little later in the day?
Could you push the show back a bit?
Yeah. So there are a couple of spots there if you're interested.
All right. Well,
if you're up.
Well, I could be I'd be happy to partake, but I think Gordy's been talking to Ralph, and there's a whole mess there. All right, we got to stop this. I think
I have a quick question for our friend Martyn.
All right.
What time is it there, Martyn? About 2 p.m?
Time here at the moment is 5 past the hour of 2.
Okay. So the big question be, what was lunch today? Because we're always interested in your culinary adventures.
I'm never interested in what he's doing.
Lunch was hot dogs.
Okay.
Saturday is usually always hot dogs for lunch because I'm left here on my own.
On the barbecue?
On the barbecue, and then there was a little bit of onion, a little bit of cheese, light smear of hot English mustard.
Oh, nice, like the Keen stuff?
And then a lovely rich tomato reduction.
Perfect. Well, there you go.
He reducted himself right off.
Talk about timing.
Yeah. It's almost like there's a button you could push or something.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he's back.
Look, he's back. Yeah.
Who hit the jump button?
I don't know what happened there, Martin.
Oh no, the electrons coming down. They must have had a bit of a hurdy-gurdy.
Yes.
All right.
Obviously.
All right. So coming up next is our very own AML flight attendant, the official flight attendant of the AML network. So rather than do the subway chime between segments, Martin, I need you to yell to tell her to come on into the studio.
Tracy, come on, Tracy. We're ready for you.
Captain, how soon can you land?
I can't tell.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
No, I mean, I'm just not sure.
Or can't you take a guess?
Well, not for another 2 hours.
You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
Okay, so the next segment is supposed to be with the official flight attendant of the AML network, Tracy Boyd, but unfortunately somehow I screwed up the audio. There's way too many buttons to push or something. I don't know what I did wrong. But anyways, I was able to salvage snippets of the interview that we can listen to, and at least hopefully that'll be somewhat entertaining, and then we'll go on from there. So I guess simply we'll just give the old go-ahead. Subway chime, go! So, Tracy, where are you exactly right now?
Sitting at the pool in Tampa, Florida.
Is there any chance that maybe you have a bit of time you could answer a few questions for us?
Okay, I can do it.
Do you think that someday the Modeler's Life podcast could become really, really good?
Potentially.
Well, then, do you think we could make it better?
I hope so someday.
Would you ever consider working full-time for the AML network?
I'll just stick with being a flight attendant.
Do you have any idea of how many minutes overall you've listened to the podcast?
143.
Would you say that the Modeler's Life podcast is like the best podcast ever? Oh, okay. Well, how's the weather there now?
It's raining again.
All right, then. We still have to talk to Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy, so maybe we'll just move on to that.
Bruce!
So, Bruce, we're taking a pause in the activities here.
Okay.
This will be, you know what? We'll stick this in before.
Oh, are we done pausing?
Yeah.
I thought we were taking a pause, but you meant not us, but others are taking a pause.
Right. You know what?
We're having a brief interlude.
Yeah. So, as you well know, on Sunday night, just hours before I release this podcast.
Yes.
Literally hours.
Exactly. It will be like hot off the electrons.
Yeah, exactly. So literally, we're going to be, I don't even remember who I asked now. I should see if I can find the list.
So you can find the guest list, make sure nobody sneaks in.
Let's see. I asked, let's see, what does it say? It says, I asked Boy Wonder, the modeler simply known as Kelly, our video expert, Ron Marsh, Martin Jenkins, who can't make it, so we're going to talk to him separately. Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy. Chris Adams, who's a super fan number something or other.
30-something.
Yeah, 30-something. Tam Jacobs, a.k.a. the Queso Cowboy, and Kaylee Zhang. So hopefully they'll all show up, or most of them will show up. So we will put this in between. So then there was other people I thought it would be fun for people to hear from, like Peter Borchards, from across the pond, and we've heard from Gordy, and we heard from Neil Erickson, aka Eric Nielsen, in the Big Island of Hawaii. We've heard from Tracy Boyd, the official AML steward, the official, what is she? The official flight attendant.
Yeah, you almost said the word there.
Yeah, I know.
She would have come over and called you a person of girth and slapped you, or a person of means or what size.
Yeah,
person of size, and then give you a Gibbs upside the head.
I'll never forget that. I had just barely met the woman, and Kevin, the hard part, had bought me dinner or lunch. And yeah, she's telling me I need 2 seats on a plane, and I look over and he's dipping his finger into my milkshake.
That's what happens when you go to Superdog, I guess.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to Tom Stock whenever we do that.
Yes, it should be a blast.
I'm looking forward to the bus ride the best. I thought that was the fun part of last year's barbecue.
It was a great time, wasn't it?
Nothing like having a 50-passenger bus with 15 people on it.
Lots of space and social distance.
And yet I was looking at a picture of it not long ago, and it actually looks, there's 15, 16 people, makes it look like there's people on it.
It does, so yeah, when they're all along the aisles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, we talked to a bunch of people independently because they weren't available to do a big group thing.
Yep, because we like to include all our friends in the AML Nation.
Exactly. So we talked to all them, and we're checking in, and I thought we'd do this Hug It Out number 4 just to kind of let everybody know we're thinking about them and hoping everybody's doing okay. And
this is happening when, Sunday?
Well, it's going to be released on 2:30 a.m. on July the 13th.
Okay, but we're recording Sunday, right?
Sunday, yes.
Sunday, AML Nation, Hug It Out 4. Be there for all the action.
Exactly. Your monster trucks.
Top fuel dragsters. Funny cars. See the mongoose and snake battle it out.
Yeah, exactly. Jake, I know some of those other, and of course back then, John Force was racing, and he's still racing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and his daughter's racing very successfully.
Hey, what would be a fun thing to do for 2 or 3 minutes, just to show everybody how much we do care about our friendship and everything. You and I have kind of had opposing views on this whole coronavirus thing, except
yes,
we're both moving closer and closer because I've become more in tune to the situation, and we care more about our friendship rather than having opposing views, Ralph. So here's where I'm at right now. I'm thinking I'm at, it's a thing. Still not convinced it's as big a thing as some people are making it out to be, but I got no problem wearing a mask. I have no problem playing the game in order to get this thing over with.
Exactly, I think. And people are talking about wearing masks, and we won't go there because it's a big, great debate, but any kid who grew up in the northern climates where it's cold and snowy, they went to school with a wool scarf wrapped around their face, and they didn't die.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to put my toque on, and when I'm walking,
your balaclava on, and there you go.
When I'm walking in the wintertime, I pull my toque on to the top of my glasses, and then I pull on my my neck tube to the bottom of my glasses.
Yeah.
And I got my coat done up. The only thing you can see of me when I'm walking in the wintertime is my eyes. And it's like,
and yet you're still here.
And yet I've managed to survive after many winters of this.
Huh.
I found pretty cool masks at Costco that were, the thing I found that I have 2 things. I have these stretchy pieces of tube that you put over.
Oh, the whole neck muff thing.
Yeah, I care for those because I look like I'm going to rob a bank, and now it's legal.
Yes, and that's the beauty. Anybody can go knock off a 7-Eleven now. Nobody knows who it is.
Yeah, exactly. And then I found these pretty decent masks at Costco, and Michelle Kempema made me a lovely Star Trek mask and 2 or 3 others, and very well done. But after a while, they pinch on your ears, but at Costco, I found these ones that you could adjust the ear part.
All right.
So, and I wore those. I've been wearing those, and they're quite comfortable too. So,
and I've also seen the ones that tie up behind your head as well.
Yeah, you can put them on a bandana.
Yeah, I've got some with Detroit Tiger ones on order, but they're not shipping until the end of August or something like that. But also, there's a couple I found on the Chesapeake and Ohio Historical Society or Technical Society site, Chessie Safety One or something like that. So I got a couple of those. They have been mailed, so I should see them.
Oh, that's cool.
Whenever. Yeah.
Maybe we should get some. Modeler's Life ones made.
There you go. AML face coverings.
Yeah, I know. All right. Okay, that's it. We've killed 7 minutes. So
Perfect.
now we're on to the big discussion we're on to the group discussion. So I'm expecting you to lead be very active in that.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, right. I was kind of frightened for a minute, but it's all my buddies, so yeah,
exactly. I haven't made Gordy.
Now, here's a question for you. Even though Kaylee's here, we consider her a buddy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if we use the term buddy; it means anybody. You don't need to be special.
I think we could. I think we think of Michelle Kempema, Kaylee
As a buddy.
As a buddy.
Tracy's a buddy.
Yeah, one of the guys. Yeah, I think we think of all of them as one of the guys. I think that's the best way to go about it. All right, that's it.
Subway chimes, go!
Oh, well. Hey, look at that. It doesn't need an extension.
I bet you if you look at your headset, there's an L and an R on there too, you know?
So what is it plugged into now, the phone or the laptop?
Yeah, it's on the phone, dude.
All right.
So that's great, huh?
So it's
How's it sounding?
Well, it sounded better on the laptop, I think.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, now we're getting all...
Now that we've solved part of the problem.
out. To,
Hey, Lionel?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's why alcohol was invented.
Oh, Jesus.
And unfortunately, I'm out right now.
This is like the musical interlude.
Yeah.
All right.
Wap, 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 wap.
All right, we're gonna stop this one then.
Now he's got. We got 2 Chris Adams now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Jeez, just what you need. Oh jeez, just what you need. All right. That one's going bye-bye. All right. Let's see.
What is going on? This is very confusing.
There we go.
No, I got nothing. What the heck?
He may have to.
Oh yeah, you probably have to refresh the page. Just completely refresh the page. So
you might need a note.
Yeah, like you'll have to leave us completely.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm going to go out and come back in.
Hey.
And I was about to put a sign up.
That would be like refreshing, wouldn't it?
That would be. Were you recording any of that or no?
I did start about. Let's see. When did I start? I wasn't 2 minutes and 7 seconds ago.
Wait a minute. You're coming out of your. I wonder if I put mine.
Yeah, put yours on backwards and see if it'll reach.
It doesn't reach as far.
So for those of you who just tuned in, we've been working on Chris Adams' audio, and we discovered he was having a problem with the headset.
Are we going to tell him what the problem was, or
how do you tell them what the problem is without?
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, we can.
Because I can't hear you, so I don't have any idea. And I've got them on my ears.
Yes, we see that.
Oh jeez. Oh, hold on. Let me turn up the volume. There you go. I can hear you now. Oh my God. And I'm an attorney. I should just turn it in now. Wait, it's late for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, usually in bed long ago.
Yeah, you're on the East Coast, so it's a lot later. It's a lot later here.
And he'll be getting up at 5 a.m. to go cycling or something. Yeah,
I'll have to now, just to have an excuse. Oh my God!
So anyhow, for those playing at home, Mr. Adams, we discovered had his headset turned 180 to the way it should be.
On backwards. Let's put it in layman's terms.
He had it on backwards. The left was right and right was left.
Observe my headphone preference. Got to honor it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Headphones
Chris,
matter.
Chris, you have a Sharpie there?
Yeah.
Because I'm suggesting you get the biggest fat point Sharpie you got and put an L on the left one and an R on the right one. So now you can know which one's which.
I'm surprised Lionel's isn't saying just put a big L right in my forehead.
Well, we're getting to that, but we're kind of trying to make it feel good at the same time.
Yeah, well, I figured I'd beat you to it.
He's learning.
Oh, geez. Yeah, no extension needed. The microphone's right there.
Look at that. It's not the fact you have a long face or anything.
Yeah, you don't have a deep face after all. You're just normal.
Well, normal in head structure, I guess. Oh, my God.
Man.
Cannot make this stuff up.
No, the writers would never seen this one coming.
Yeah.
No, I could try to play it off. I did it all for your benefit, just to keep you guys cheery and happy.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're like what are the guys in the military? The show guys, the
jester.
No, what do they call the guys that travel around?
Oh, the morale booster.
No, there was in the World War II. There was what are they? The guys?
USO.
The USO.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the USO.
Bob Hope.
Yeah, well, it's better than Dorothy Lamour.
Yeah, think of yourself as Bob Hope. Your microphone's too close.
Oh, is it?
Now we've gone the other way. Yeah, pinch your upper lip and move your mic.
Move it out just a little bit. There you go.
You want me to scratch it again?
Yeah, do that, would you?
Okay, nope, I had it right. There we go.
There you go.
How's that?
That is perfect.
All right. I'll just have to freeze everything just like this for next time.
Well, sorry, Chris, your time's up. And it's great talking to you.
And there's another episode.
So what I've done today, Chris, is so far I've talked. Well, we'll put this in just before we have the group photo. We talked to Peter Borchich first, then we talked to Gordy Robinson on the eve of the NMRAX. Then we talked to Eric Nielsen or Neil Erickson. And we talked to Martyn Jenkins, and we talked to the official flight attendant, Tracy Boyd. Then I talked to Bruce for a minute, and then you stumbled into the studio.
And it all went sideways.
So then so everybody knows out there, I've been wanting to do an audio check with Chris for a while now, because I thought there's something about his sound that's just not right. And he was very gracious and let me, he said, sure, come on in. We'll do an audio check. And we've been doing it, and we discovered that perhaps, maybe, I can't confirm, but perhaps maybe he had his headset on backwards.
Yeah, so something strange has been added.
He thought he had a big head. Turns out
it's very deep. It was a very deep head. Thought I might need a microphone extension or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, just have to put it on correctly.
All right. Sorry, I'm going to turn this off now. Now we're going to go and have the whole gang come in, and we'll finish up this whole, this is a Hug It Out 4. So, Chris, we're doing this today is Friday, and we're doing this we're releasing this on July the 13th. Because it seems like there's so much upheaval going on, I thought, hey, let's have folks from all over the AML Nation check in and see what's happening and see how they're doing.
Sounds like an awesome idea.
It does. How are you doing?
Doing all right. As a matter of fact, the layout, well, now that I can actually wear this thing correctly, but the layout tour that you had me do for the Patreon folks got a fire lit under me a little bit, and I've been doing some stuff on the layout ever since then. So it got me back into the basement and to the workbench. So I've been making a little progress. So that's been good. So thank you for that.
Perfect. You're not back at work though, right? You're not going into Hartford.
Not into Hartford. No, I've been working at home ever since March. So and it's actually been busier than it would normally be this time of year, because it's just been constant. I mean, we're very cyclical up there. It would have been super, super busy in April. We would have been doing 20-hour days and everything, because that would have been the last full month of the session. And it wasn't that bad working at home in April, although it was still very busy with everything being on fire in Connecticut at that point. And then we would normally, under normal circumstances, it would be like dropping off a cliff at the end of the first week of May, because session would be over and then you go into summer. But it's been just constant. So there hasn't been any real, up and down or anything like that. It's been pretty steady. But commute's nice down the hall.
Do you find it hard? Do you find it hard to be motivated?
No, because there's if I did, I mean, I really don't have a chance to not be motivated, because I'm either getting texts or calls or emails, and I've got the computer going. And one of the committees that I staff is the labor committee, and with all of the unemployment and businesses laying off people and everything like that, and our Department of Labor getting 5 years worth of applications in about 12 weeks. It's been really, really busy. So yeah, it's whether I want to be motivated or not. You
got to keep moving. In other words, your motivation is, if you don't keep moving, you're going to be snowed under.
Yeah, I'll be one of the unemployed that I keep trying to help. That would be awkward.
All right. Well, Bruce, we already did the subway chime, but then we had an addition to before we jump in. So, well, how should we jump into the next part with everybody, the whole gang? Anybody? Any ideas? Bruce is on mute now.
I was on mute. It'd be pretty funny. I was going to say, hell, the gang's all here.
Dun, 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 dun. You sound great now, Chris.
Yeah, well, at least I'm not on mute.
The problem is, this is agonizing for me because for months now I've been thinking, gee, I'd like to have Chris on even a little bit more, but his audio's not that good. And I literally was thinking to myself, I wonder if he's just got one of those voices that doesn't project. And I've been torturing myself trying to.
He's just an idiot. It's easy.
It was an easy solution. Here's your sign.
I've been torturing myself trying to figure out a delicate way to approach the situation. Which is a double-edged sword because the words Lionel and delicate don't go together.
Oh, well, And it's good that we were on audio because if we were, on video, if we were on audio only, you imagine how long it would have taken to figure that out.
Yes. Oh, my God. You're right. Because as you took off the headset there, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking,
hold on.
Yeah.
Is this a forward-facing camera or the rear-facing camera?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that my left or your left?
All right, that's it.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Cannot make this up.
All right, we're leaving now. We're going to we're opening the doors and letting the flood come in.
All right, should I stick around or am I leaving?
No. Sunday, you know how on Sunday we're all going to get together?
Oh, okay. Yes, right.
Yeah,
that's right. This is just a test.
There you go. Play along.
Jeez,
play along.
I need to get more sleep.
So hey,
all right, I'll bring my A game on Sunday. How's that?
So hey, Chris, see everybody.
We'll be happy with your D game.
Oh my God.
Hey, Chris,
I'd have the ear things here.
There you go.
Hey, Chris, you see how everybody's outside the studio? Maybe you can open the door and let them in.
Yeah, I should. I hear someone knocking at the door.
Yeah, who's someone knocking at the door? Ringing the bell.
Who's that ringing the bell?
All right, that's it. I'm out of here.
All right, guys. See ya.
Bye.
He does some pretty amazing work. So we should talk to him on the old AML at some time.
Sure. Was he easy to listen? Like, was it easy listening?
English is his second language. He's Spanish, but his English is good enough to get by and talk to him.
Yeah.
Not a problem. He's pretty good, and he's keen on the hobby. He's got I think just for trains, or trains just for fun, or something like that is his YouTube channel.
Wouldn't be any different than talking to Serge, I imagine.
Or trains for fun, something like that. But he's some amazing stuff. But he was talking about how to model ballast. Here's what the ballast looks like and how to model it, and modeling track. Here we have an example. We got the main line with concrete ties, the secondary main concrete ties, and over here we got the wood ties, and the very interesting.
So today was the first day of the NMRAX, and it sounds like it was a wild success, as always.
Besides a few technical glitches that started off the day, it went fairly well. I understand they now have the Facebook feed back up again, so they're streaming both on YouTube and Facebook.
I'd ask you to explain it to me, but I wouldn't understand it because I barely understand how we get this podcast out. So
push button, make talk, make
exactly.
Talk.
But they had the round table, and Neil Erickson had his AML shirt on.
Attaboy. Okay. What was the AML? What was the round table about?
Your first model railroad, wasn't it?
Yeah, first model railroad.
How did that go?
Cool.
Because I woke up at 4 this morning, couldn't get back to sleep. So by the time 6 o'clock or whatever the hell this afternoon rolled around, the round table, I was a little. I'm ready to sleep, and
I think it was pretty
had
good.
a bit of a nap.
They talked to. Go on.
No, you go ahead.
They talked about their first real layout that they built.
Yeah,
not the Christmas tree or on the table.
No, like the first one you got out of the Atlas Snaptrack book or something.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Hearing them all.
And then what did Ralph do for weathering? Because it was a big surprise. Did you see
that? He did one of the Volkswagen thing he did.
Oh, okay.
I caught part of that.
That van.
And the van, and he showed some work by one of his friends using. Oh God!
Did he mention me at all?
I didn't hear it all
because he's mad at me, and I've been trying to figure out what the problem is.
What'd you do?
I have no idea.
Usual.
It's Ralph.
Just exist.
He's mad at me. Yeah, it's like he's mad at me.
It's like being married. Well, it's like when your wife says, "Well, you know, right?"
Yeah. That's basically what that's what Neil Erickson said.
Well, what's the problem? Well, you know,
your presence on this mortal coil has annoyed him.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
Well, Ralph's problem is, and to credit most to you guys, we'll do the introductions in a minute. But Ralph's problem is, and Bruce has understood this for a long time now, and it still trips him up once in a while. But Ralph just can't seem to grasp the fact that I have no ability for minutia and details. So he has said something to me, and I have, in an offhanded way said, sure, whatever. And now I didn't do it, and he's mad. It's got to be something like that. Or he's mad because of that time he showed up into the studio and I just turned him off.
That could be it.
But that was like, I explained it to him already. I said, well, then we would have to set up your microphone and the shows are getting better. And I'm trying to avoid this kind of herky jerkiness. And that wasn't, then he starts yelling at me on Messenger. And
yeah. Before
he was not happy that night.
No.
But is he ever happy? Seriously.
I was gonna say, he's never happy.
No. Before we get going, can I show you something that Bill Brillinger did for me?
Absolutely, but you'll have to describe it because we're 4 minutes and 16 seconds into it. But carry on.
The button's been pushed as expected.
The button's been pushed, and I'm sharing this. You see this in the upper right. It's a beaver lumber sign that I found on the internet because I've got the Mount Albert Skill Mount Albert lumberyard kit. And I was figuring, well, beaver lumber is a well-known name in Canada, at least.
Is it?
And this sign I found, figured that fits about the era I'm looking for, and like phone 90. So there weren't a lot of businesses in Rodney back then. So I was trying to mess around with this and get it fixed up. And I said, that's just stupid. Especially I'm thinking of wanting decals made to go on some Sylvan Scale model trucks. So I sent it to Bill and says, can you make something to this out of me? He says, yeah, give me some dimensions of the truck doors and I'll do something. So anyhow, this is Monday morning. It comes Tuesday afternoon. Take a look at this. What do you think? So this is what he's done. Here's his what it's scaled down to, what it will look like on the doors of the truck, which is beautiful. And here's nice. the panel. So he made up these little truck door decals for me, plus these bigger ones I can use for signs or something like that. But absolute outstanding work by Bill Brillinger at PDC.
So what is PD? This was a real company.
What's that?
What is PDC?
So Beaver.
I'm talking here. No, Tom. I yield the floor to the gentleman from
the gentleman from Robisonia.
Yeah,
I was asking a question: is Beaver Lumber a real company?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was a Canadian company. Been around for about 6 years before they sold out.
Then, so Tom, I was going to ask the same question because I'm Canadian and I've never heard of it. But this would go to the whole Ralph thing where it's like, I have no idea I don't remember Beaver Lumber at all. And why does it say phone 90? Is that was their phone number?
That was their phone number way back in whenever it is in the 40s or something. So like there was at least 90 phones in Rodney at the time.
And I personally am offended by the stereotype that every Canadian product or every Canadian business has to have a beaver on the sign.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Now they can also have a loon. See, a beaver or a loon.
Thank you.
Or a mountie or a moose.
Yeah. Thank you. I thought that was.
Or a puffin.
Or a what?
Or a puffin.
What's a puffin?
It's a little
bird.
Little bird.
You basically just proved my point.
Why am I?
It's like a penguin with a bigger nose.
Why am I the only one?
Much smaller than a penguin, though. Yeah.
Why am I?
Tiny things.
Why am I the only one that doesn't know anything? I don't understand why I'm the only person on the planet that doesn't know stuff.
Because you spent too much time getting plywood for your vice principal instead of paying attention.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was a good gig. Let me tell you, that was a good gig. All right, so we're gonna we started this. We're waiting for Kaylee to show up, but she'll be here shortly.
I thought she said she wasn't coming.
Oh, I thought she said she was mowing the lawn.
She said she's not coming.
Oh, she said not coming at all.
No, she
just finished mowing, not joining tonight.
Ah, Kaylee, we were gonna have, and then Chris Adams, I bet you has forgotten. He has completely forgotten because he was coming for sure, but I think he's probably completely forgotten. But that's okay because we've already talked to on this particular episode of Let's Hug It Out number 4. Oh, see now somebody just sent him a message. George, the boy wonder. Don't bail the guy out. Like, come on.
Or at least don't do it in the group chat where everybody can see it.
I was trying to do him a favor.
Oh, well, maybe, George, maybe he doesn't want to come.
Oh, yeah, I know why he doesn't want to come on.
Yeah, because his headset's on band. That's up, but we got that in there. So, okay, so let's just so you guys know where we stand here. So I decided to do this. Oh, now I'm going to have to turn my phone over so I can't see messages coming. What?
He says he's trying to figure out his headphones.
Ah, there you go.
so he's trying, but he's just not here.
So, all right. So I came up with this idea because I think the world is still in great amounts of turmoil. And when we were doing Let's Hug It Out and everything, oh, look at that. Chris Adams showed up.
There he is.
Hey, guys.
That nice looking headset there, Chris.
Hey, thanks. It's a new one.
You forgot, didn't you?
No, I did not forget. I saw Kaylee's thing and that she wasn't going to be able to make it. And I guess I was just waiting for somebody to confirm that we were actually doing it at 8:30 because the announcement was 8:30-ish. So it's still in the ish part.
Oh, true.
20 minutes later.
Yeah, before 9 o'clock, technically, it was 8:30.
Yeah. It's 10 to 9 now.
Okay, well, then ish.
You stretch the ish right out there.
Hey, Chris, it's still just 10 to 8 here, so you're okay. My
boy.
Eastern Daylight Time. And
thank you, Ron.
You got to somehow, Chris, you got to move that mic
back here.
A little bit. Not
no, the mic.
Yeah, move it forward. Be careful. Yeah,
away from you.
Forward. Yeah, but like try that.
Like that. Is that better?
So Chris, it's still ish because it's not 40 minutes into the show yet.
Oh, there you go. You haven't done introductions yet, huh?
We're just getting there.
I like when that's become a benchmark.
Hey,
I've heard the podcast before.
That one's gone to deep left field.
If George hadn't sent you a message, you'd still be sitting on your couch.
I probably would be waiting for the call. Every Saturday night.
Okay, let me ask. All right, so now Chris is another excellent one to Dirk. How many? We've been doing this for 6 years. It's like I was listening to Fans number 21 today, and I was giving Kevin Marks the gears. Did I not invite him? I must have.
He's busy tonight getting ready for his presentation tomorrow.
It was just so long as I invited him. So, anyways, it was Fans number 21, and I was giving Hard Part the gears about drinking boxed wine. And and then Bruce gets mad at me. He starts getting mad because I'm thinking, you've known me for 30 freaking years. You seriously can't think I actually care about boxed wine one way or the other.
You should be used to this by now.
And you should also be used to this by now. What ish is like you actually are.
I guess that's true.
You're actually sitting.
That was so subtle. I did not even see that punch coming.
There's another one out the deep left.
Yeah, and I love it I love how you're sitting there saying to me, "Well, I'm waiting to get the call." Seriously. Seriously.
That went right across the plate.
Yeah, I sent you the message. I even did it a couple of days in advance. We're gonna do Hug It Out, 8:30-ish Eastern Daylight Time on Sunday evening, and you expect you're gonna get more from me than that? I mean, seriously.
It's a change-up knuckleball. He's way out in front on it.
Like, holy moly.
Right. So have you done the introductions?
Yeah, I've done them all. We've done all the introductions. We've been not chatting for the last 20 minutes about
where. It's time to give out the email address.
Would you like to have a shot at that, Chris?
No, God, no.
Well, I mean, if this was supposed to be off the cuff, it's we're on the ground. Right off the cuff, we're like on the floor.
From this point going forward, for the rest of mankind, I would like the world to try to not read anything into my messages other than what it says. I had this discussion with Bruce and Chris the other night. I sent one of my doctors a picture of me buying a piece of plywood because they're constantly, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll just send this picture. Oh, look at me, I'm buying a piece of plywood. And the reply I got was, oh, so you've gotten the report on your latest scan? And I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's a piece of plywood. Where are you reading into this?
Remind me again what the hell plywood has to do with scans?
Yeah. You're gonna make a sign?
I'm always amazed that people are reading into what I'm doing more than what I'm doing. It's like, hey, what picture should we use? Did I miss the show? No, I'm just trying to figure out what picture to use.
We should have a shirt made that says Lionel Strang, not an influencer.
Yeah, not an influencer. There you go.
Hey, Lionel, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be taken seriously.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, you'll know as people will know. My employees know when I actually want people to pay attention. You'll know, but it's like with you guys, I don't feel like I'm in a position other than, hey, would you like to join me for a podcast?
Oh yeah, you're such a shrinking violet. Please, fellas, can you come over?
Yeah, please.
Help.
Yeah. Okay, so where we're at is we're doing Let's Hug It Out number 4 because we had another show all planned and lined up, but that got pushed back to July 27th. Today is July the 13th. You're listening to this on your way to work if you're going to work, or if you're just walking from the kitchen to your office, you might listen to two or 3 seconds of it. So I already spoke with Peter Borchards and Gordy Robinson and Neil Erickson, or Eric Nielsen. Neil Erickson thinks that me and Ralph should have a try to work things out. And I was trying to explain to Neil also, I can't help you, man. I really don't know what the problem is. I forget when me and Ralph got married.
Hey, Neil. Hey, Neil. That's cute, but no.
And then we talked to Martyn Jenkins, and that was 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Mr. Bumblebum.
And we talked to Tracy, the official flight attendant on the AML network. Only by now everybody understands that she didn't like her interview. So I've explained that already, and we've done some stuff there. So Tracy, we would have loved to have you on, and even though you're on Tracy, trust me, you're interesting. And then we had Bruce, and then and then we had Chris Adams and Bruce. You and I, this is a golden opportunity for us to explain to the rest of the cast here, and we'll quickly introduce them. We'll do real fast introductions. We have hitting first out of the Ottawa Valley is none other than George, the boy wonder Taylor, who just today, or I guess yesterday, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, he bought his grandfather's Cadillac.
Oh, thanks.
Does your grandfather know?
Yeah.
No, that's the fun part.
It's a beautiful car. George has this ability to search out great deals on cars. It's a beautiful car, and you got a tremendous price. And it was, from an economical standpoint, it was an excellent deal.
Good. I'm glad I at least have that. I'll just take that and run with it.
Yeah. When one day when it's full of bullet holes.
And you're in the trunk.
Yeah, and you're in the trunk.
Just my
Don't
head.
come crying to us.
Yeah. And then we have joining us special tonight is all the way from El Dorado Springs, Missouri.
You got it.
Is our favorite video guy, favorite video channel guy. It's Ron. What's your last name?
Marsh.
I can never remember if your last name is Ron Things or Ron Marsh. So it's Ron's. Come on, seriously. Ron's Trains and Things are the official video channel of the AML network. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
And in the background where you're sitting, there is a helix laying on its side on the floor.
Oh, you noticed that, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the deal? What's the deal there? You just roll it around the basement or what?
Yeah, I thought it would be fun to, balance on it like a unicycle or something. No, I tore that out today, as a matter of fact, and those listening to this on Monday morning will have the ability to tune into a video on Tuesday and see what all's going on. But I've got a layout expansion that is beginning, along with a remodel of my basement. If I sound a little echoey, it's because we ripped all the carpet out of the basement yesterday. But I'm took the helix down, and I'm adding about 12 feet onto the layout, both decks around there, and then we're going to be building a new and improved helix to connect them.
And when you say
exciting stuff.
When you say we,
I always refer to myself in the plural.
Okay.
That's what royalty does.
Yeah.
That's better than referring to himself in the third person.
That's right.
Yeah. What is
Bob Dole
Ron's getting angry.
Ron's getting upset.
Ron holds grudges.
So okay. So like tomorrow, if you're listening to this on the 13th, tomorrow there's a video about this.
Correct. Yes.
And is this on the part that you have to pay for?
Well, no. This is going to be on the free part.
I'm very fuzzy on that whole part where I signed up for that for the $7 a month, and like so far, like I'm getting a couple of messages saying, "Oh yeah, hey, I've gone down to Sonic and had a milkshake."
It's because you never log into YouTube, so you don't get the messages. You have to actually log in.
All right, what was the latest thing you put on that part? Yeah, I tell you, I put a video about this layout expansion about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, where I showed all of what I'm going to do here about the layout expansion, the new studio that I haven't mentioned yet, the whole kit and caboodle. So, wow, a new studio?
Yeah,
you going to build a new studio?
Where the family room once was, where the fireplace is now going to be the new studio of Ron's Trains and Things, Studio 7.
Wow, studio.
Wow. Ron's Fireside Chats.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With a pipe and a rocking chair, and
you'll be looking like Johnny LaRue.
Yeah.
Sweater vest or cardigan.
No, it'll be the smoking jacket.
Yeah, smoking jacket.
With the little
smoking jacket. There you go.
With the little Ron's Trains and Things logo there on the
embroidered.
On the pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's got embroidered. Yes.
And yeah, it's dark green with orange embroidery and an orange belt, satin belt.
Where you buy that orange satin belt?
I don't know. The same place you buy the dark green satin smoking jacket.
You gotta have it custom made.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly knows the guy that sells orange hats. He can probably get one there.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, Kelly knows a guy. Kelly always knows a guy. Okay, so that's great. We'll move on that, and we also have, we have Chris Adams, who is the proud owner of the New Haven Valley line. And what's your blog's address? Where do you like to converse with people the most about your layout?
Well, you can do that at www.thevalleylocal.net, and you need all 3 W's, believe it or not. Otherwise, you don't get there.
Really?
Actually, yes.
So
it just comes up as it doesn't exist. I'm like, no, it's right there. It exists. But you need all 3 W's. I don't know why. And it's a net, not a com.
Hey, Bruce.
Yes?
Watch this. Hey, Chris, your sound seems better tonight. Have you done anything to your...
I've got a new setup, a new configuration.
You rearranged your studio, did you?
Yeah, turned the entire thing around. No, facing back to front.
So, Bruce, we need to tell this story. I've already played that, about 12 minutes of us doing it, but for the rest of the gentlemen in the room here, let's we'll finish. Let's tell it now.
Well, let's do the introductions, then we'll come back.
All right. And then, okay. What about your Facebook page, though, Chris? You get a lot of activity on that, don't you?
Oh, that's true. Yes. I got a Facebook group called, it's just the Valley Local. So if you search for the Valley Local, or actually it has a better address, it's facebook.com/group/the Valley Local. So, I post there pretty regularly because it's just so darn easy to do it. So a lot of stuff that I'm doing on a particular day gets posted there before it gets posted anywhere else. And then the blog is a little bit more detailed, and then the website is all the stuff that's being archived and more detailed stuff there.
I'm going to try to find it because that's what we do here. So what would be the easiest thing to put in to find your Facebook page?
Facebook page, the Valley Local.
Okay, I'm going to put in I'm going to put in just Valley Local and see what happens.
You might get a newspaper.
The Valley Local, modeling the New Haven Railroad, autumn 1948.
Oh, that's the one.
There you go. Look at that. You got 319 members.
I need one more, just one more, and I can announce it.
Okay, I'll bite.
Yeah. That's right, because you're not a member yet.
Oh, am I not a member?
No, I think you are.
Yeah, I thought I was. And why do you need one more member?
Because I'm at 319.
Okay.
And then you get to welcome your new members, so I like to have a nice round number because I'm kind of OCD that way.
So what happens when you get to 320?
How is
nothing?
Yeah.
It's just that I get to announce that I've got 6 new members.
And then when you get 321, you're all angsty until you get the next 9.
Exactly. Ron, you know the struggle is real, my friend.
I totally get it. I'm a YouTube guy. I totally understand.
Of course, you measure in thousands. I'm
It's
just
still the same.
one.
It just takes a lot longer to get 1,000 than it does to get 9. That's
true.
You know what? I think I'm the walking billboard for ignorance is bliss. Like I'm remotely interested in the numbers that I have, but generally I'm like, yeah, watch it, don't look at it. Like I'm doing it anyway, so come along, don't do it, whatever. And so yeah, my thought would be if I was excited to get 320, then I'd be like, well, then when I get to 321, I got to start all over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, but hopefully I'll message you soon and let you know that the podcast is starting.
Oh, yeah. Still waiting.
I have a coworker who has extreme triskaidekaphobia, where he's he's dead set against the number 13.
Oh, I for a minute thought it was Triscuit crackers.
He's not. He's not necessarily like afraid of it, but he just hates the number 13, and he's a complete math geek as well, so he knows like the 13 times table out to however many multiples. So even if something is like a multiple of 13, he will, like, if he wakes up and he looks at his alarm clock and the time is a multiple of 13, he will go back to sleep for a few minutes until it's not. He's just that weird.
His name is what? Tom what?
And then you have me, who was born on Friday the 13th, so I don't really care.
So how does he feel about your nickname being 0013?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa. I bet you haven't told him that. Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't know.
Ooh.
He knows it. He knows about. He's also a bit of a Facebook stalker, so he knows about AML Nation and he knows about what goes on in the barn and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know if he knows about the 0013 nickname or not.
Well,
I'll have to ask.
Tell him.
Yeah, you'll have to ask. That was one of those stories. That sounded like one of my stories where it just kind of, you went through the whole explanation and there was like silence. I'm not alone. It happens to other people. All right, moving right along. So then we're moving right along. We have the Queso Cowboy is the secret agent 0013, a.k.a. the Queso Cowboy, also known as Tom Jacobs, all the way from Robesonia, Pennsylvania. He's an insurance guru. He is building the cross line, the Reading cross line layout in a 20 by 36 building. Inside measurements are 18.5 by 34.5. It is how many levels are in that building?
2 levels.
How many stairs?
4 steps.
Who are we talking to? Oh yeah, you'll have heard if you're listening. If you listen to this show, you'll have heard Neil Erickson say that if it has 4 steps, you need, what does he need? A guardrail or a handrail or something?
Railing or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually are planning for a railing
Oh, okay. All right, have you thought of one of those
and
things?
a fire extinguisher
How about
and a carbon monoxide detector
How
and
about
a smoke
how about the
detector.
acorn stair lift?
Or an escalator.
No.
Yeah.
No, let's just go with the acorn stair lift.
Yeah, come on, Ron.
You need the bank of emergency lights too.
Should I give everybody a hover round too while I'm at it?
And a big
The
green exit
oxygen
sign.
mask that comes from the ceiling.
Oh God!
How big of an auxiliary generator are you buying?
Don't laugh. The power went out here last week, and now because we had a really bad storm go through, and now my wife wants us to get one of those whole house generators.
Oh yeah, well,
You know, the ones that are like hooked in, and like the power goes out and it just clicks on automatically.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should do that.
Oh yeah. And then
Just for the barn.
Yeah, but just for the barn.
Or you can.
It's okay, dear. I got power in the barn. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Tom, you can negotiate that. She gets the generator and you get the caboose.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't need another project.
Well,
but get this. I am now outsourcing queso deliveries.
Attaboy.
One of my wife's coworkers is a really good cook and baker, and I got a text message from her this afternoon. And we're friendly, like we go out to dinner and hang out and stuff as double dating.
Oh, I was going to say. I was going to say
that's a little weird, but all right.
Yeah, let me clarify that.
Hey, boy wonder, don't be judgmental. We're older than you.
But anyway, she sends me a text and she's like, "Hey Tom, I made a batch of queso. I'm going to send some home with Deb tomorrow for you." Like, cool.
Yeah, like now you are legit. Does she know you're the queso cowboy?
No, that's the thing.
We got to come up with
Now I have to explain it to her.
We got to get you a shirt or a hat or something. We need some sort of significant way of people knowing that you're the queso cowboy. That is such a cool nickname.
Send them a sombrero with an AML.
That's what I was getting ready to say. A sombrero with a big pin on it that says queso cowboy.
The urban sombrero.
Like the sombreros they used to pass out at Chi-Chi's when it was your birthday, the big sombrero that had Chi-Chi's embroidered across the front.
Yeah.
Get one that says queso cowboy.
That's right.
Chai Rodriguez. Why do we think Chris Adams is on mute now? I'm dying to find out why Chris Adams is on mute now. He's probably left or something.
He's waiting for you to give him the call.
No, I'm just walking.
You're walking.
Yes, I'm going to a different part of the house.
Oh, okay. Why'd you get kicked out of the? Oh yeah,
no, because I don't think my wife wants to hear this story a second time. Just saying.
So Chris is our mobile correspondent.
Yeah, exactly.
He's our field unit.
Yeah, she probably didn't want to.
Roving reporter.
She probably didn't want to hear it the first time.
Yeah, that's probably true. She's like, really? Seriously? That really happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then next,
did she give you the look, Chris?
No, she was in the other room and she could still hear us laughing.
Oh,
so,
but when you explained it to her, did she give you the look?
Well,
I couldn't really tell because her eyes were rolling.
Let's get through the. We'll get all right. So then we have Bruce, the moderately agitated male boy. Say hi, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
And then we have the next guy we have. He's the official landscaper for the live stream layout, and he's the speed monitor. He's the traffic cop for the live steam layout. He's the vice president of the live steam layout at the Medford Railroad Park. He's the president of the HO Scale Model Railroad Club. He's on the board of directors for the Medford Railroad Park. He's the train show manager for the Medford Railroad Park. What have I left? Oh, yeah, and you're something to do with the Oregon Historical Railroad Society.
Correct.
What is that? You're the president of that. You're quiet now. You were perfect before, now you're quiet.
Oh no, I'm just. Oh no. Yeah.
No, I don't mean you're quiet as in you're not talking. I mean you're quiet as in we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. How's that?
That's better.
I thought for a minute he'd been into the queso.
Yeah.
No, the mic had moved.
Did you put it on backwards or something?
No. It's just got knocked over a little bit.
Well, what are you doing? Swatting fly? Why can't you people just sit still?
I was going to do laps around the house.
Yeah. So, anyways, I thought I was being super organized. Apparently, now I'm never ever going to give any prior notice because I decided to do this hug it out thing at last minute. So then I talked to a bunch of people, and then last Wednesday at our virtual chat. Don't put it on mute. Why are you on mute? There you go.
I keep coughing.
Oh, okay. Well, I cough all the time. I know.
Jeez.
Did you sneeze?
Sure. Let's just roll with that.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to tell this story as truthfully as I can because I think it adds to the overall dramatic emphasis of the story. So I really like having everybody that's here on the podcast, plus Kaylee and everybody that comes on the podcast. And one of the people I enjoy having is Chris Adams, because Chris, you always have lots of insightful things to say, and I think you add a lot to the podcast. But to be completely honest, a couple of times I've thought, his audio is not that great, so maybe I won't invite him to this particular thing or that particular thing. So for the last 6 to 7 months, certainly from the end of the fall of 2019, I've been thinking, his audio's not that good, and he's a lawyer, and I'm just a redneck, and I don't know if I should say anything. And it's been mulling around in my head. I've been trying to think, man, I really like having Chris on because he has so much interesting stuff to say, and his layout's interesting, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, what could I do? And I know anything I say is going to come out wrong. Just ask Ralph. And and I'm thinking, and finally last Wednesday, we were doing one of our virtual chats for the Patreon members, and Chris was there, and there was a group of people, and I guess I felt like I was in a particularly diplomatic mood, and I said very clearly, hey, Chris, any chance maybe we could just check your audio, because I think maybe we could make it better. Oh, yeah, sure, Lionel, no problem. So Friday was when I was talking to all the other people we've already heard. And then I got done doing that, and it was around 10 o'clock Eastern time. And I thought, I'll just I know Chris doesn't go to bed at 8 o'clock, so I'll just send Chris a message, see if hey, are you still up? Yeah. You feel like working on your audio? Yeah, okay. And then Bruce was here. So Bruce is always able to add tons of insightful knowledge to any of these discussions. And so we get Chris on, and and he had just finished doing his audio check with Speed Mueller for the NMRAX, which has started yesterday, July 12th. And, hey, yeah, I've been just doing great, cool, because I figure it's something I'm doing wrong. I'm probably doing something wrong, or maybe there's something, we could do. Oh, great, you've done your... So we get Chris on, and he says, well, Speed really thought it was better with my, what do you call those, like earbuds, with the inline microphone. Okay, let's try those. We try those, and then, yeah. And then he puts the laptop on. He puts his headset on, and Bruce and I are kind of going, oh yeah, it's okay, blah blah, but it's not that great. And then Chris says, I said, and I'm looking at it, and we're all on video. The three of us are on video, so we can see each other.
And that is key.
That is key. That's a key element of
key.
Yeah, that is a key element of the story. So we're looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and I said, I'm looking, and I said, your microphone doesn't seem to go in front of your face. And he says, yeah, it's, like I got a deep jaw or I got a deep face or something, and I don't seem to really be able to get my microphone out that far. And I said, yeah, and of course, Bruce is always throwing in some intelligent suggestions and thoughts. And we're looking at this, and we try the iPad and the phone, and we're trying all different things. And then Chris goes to make a change, and he's taking the headset off. And somehow I thought to I looked at Bruce, whose headset, the microphone is on the left side. And I'm looking at Chris, and his microphone is on the right side.
Oh, no. I know where this is going.
And the wire was behind the microphone on Chris's headset. And I'm thinking, and this is absolutely the God's honest truth, I can't possibly understand what's wrong here because I'm Lionel. There's no way I could identify the problem because I'm not a techno whiz. I don't solve problems. There's no possible way it could be me. And I go, what? Hey, Bruce, why is the wire on Chris's headset in front of the microphone and yours is behind? And Bruce goes, because he has it on backwards. And I'm like, now I'm speechless. And I'm like, no, seriously, why do you think and Bruce goes, it's on backwards. So, hey, Chris, try turning the headset around. See what happens then. And we were worried because we thought Chris's ears were too far back on his head. We it was some sort of
jaw was too deep.
We were trying to Google microphone extensions so it could reach all the way to the front.
Trying to Google a human what is the word?
Anatomy.
Anatomy or oddities. Why has Chris got his ears farther back on his head than anybody else? And, is this a freak of nature? Is there something you can do? Are there operations? Can he have his scalp, his
operations
face collapsed?
Yeah, can he have his face collapsed? And we're asking him how is your wife's love for you? Is it a physical thing or is it more?
I am not an animal.
And sure enough,
I was just relieved that surgery wasn't going to be involved.
Yeah. And that was our evening on Friday evening.
That was pretty much.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah, and then we laughed and laughed, and then we laughed a lot.
I was just so glad that we had video, because if we were non-video, we'd probably still be trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
or I would be.
We would be, because if it hadn't been for the video, we would have been looking at it for years and years.
And so I'm thinking, Bruce, is that your left or my left? Yeah.
Yeah.
Front-facing camera.
So I had to.
It all depends how you look at it, right? So
true enough.
So then I had to turn my video off and turn away because I'm like, holy Jesus.
Now the audio is good, and now you're just wondering, should we really ever have him on again?
Yeah.
I don't care how good his audio is.
Oh, I didn't think you were in on that conversation after.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, I stumbled out of high school, voted most likely to be a failure, and this guy's a lawyer, and what could I have possibly done should I have continued on with my schooling and become a scientist that saved the world or something? Or, it's like, but no, it turns out it was just bad.
But anyhow, I did suggest to Chris that he finds the biggest fat Sharpie he can and mark his earphones with an L and an R, but they probably already have that on, but obviously they're not quite big enough.
In my defense, I have looked and I've looked and I've looked, and there is no L, there's no R, there's no way to distinguish one side from the other.
Yeah,
it's like a locomotive. It should have an F on the front. So
it should have. Yeah, it should have some sort of indication or something.
Maybe that's what they need on phone for front-facing cameras.
There you go.
Yeah,
just label it. Point this way.
Yeah, maybe that's what Ralph's mad about, is that we just wouldn't succumb to that, which is one, which is the other. All right, so we don't have a lot of time left because we already chewed up an hour and 10 minutes at the other part. We've
said nothing.
Ow! Oh, Tom, that hurts.
Yeah.
Well, no, we heard about Ron's. We've heard about Ron Felix unicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Helix unicycle. What else did we talk? We talked about the boy wonder and buying his grandpa's car.
The Queso Cowboy's got a new source of queso.
Yeah. Queso Cowboy's got a new source of queso.
All right,
Jeez. We found out that Chris Adams is still waiting for me to message him that the show started. That is.
And it won't be long after we're done.
Yeah, you're like Tom Jacobs. You cute. You guys are cute. You got to get together and go, hey, Lionel didn't message me. No shit.
Lord.
Oh, lordy. Okay, so let's start with the boy wonder. So you got yourself a cool new car. You are very adept at finding good car bargains, so I'm very impressed with that. Got yourself a brand new 2016 Cadillac ATS with only 30,000 miles on it, 50,000 kilometers for those of you who lived in Canada, at a very, very economical price. Way to go.
Thank you, sir.
Round of applause. Did you? When do you get it?
I pick it up on Friday.
Friday? What are they going to do to it? Why is it taking them so long? I guess they got to.
They're gonna do full reconditioning. Shampoo the carpets and everything, like make it all super nice, showroom clean. New tires, brakes.
Yeah.
That's what they said they were going to do. You've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
4 owners out of it.
You got to get 40,000 miles when you get it on Friday.
That's right. They're going to take it on a road rally between now and Friday.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Get the dead hooker out of the trunk.
Their body fill in the bullet holes.
It's going to cross the border.
I knew that bag of horses' heads was there for a reason.
What was that, Ron?
I said it's going to cross the border between now and Friday twice.
Yeah.
Didn't you notice the marker plate said mule?
And they got to try to get all the serial numbers to match.
I'm gonna get to the border post on Friday for work, and they're gonna ask me. They said, "Why is a car with plates registered to you come across this way twice last week?" I'm gonna go, "What?"
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm very very excited.
You should be.
It's the first newish car I'm gonna have in a long time. So,
does it have Bluetooth?
It certainly does.
Perfect.
Wow.
It'd be interesting.
It's got a lot more than that.
Yeah, there you go. What size engine does it have in it?
So it's the standard one. So it's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, nothing special, but 202 horsepower, some torque, something like that. But
well, that's good. It has some torque.
A few torques.
One bicycle has some torque.
No, I mean it'll be a stepping stone, right? But I mean,
it's only got torque in one.
I thought it was a Cadillac, not a stepping stone.
Yeah, really.
Ron's Helix has some torque too. So.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, George, listen, I get it, and because I've never owned a cool car my entire life, so I think it's fantastic.
Well, you know what's funny, like, because I've always been like an import guy, like Kevin, like we both drive BMWs right now, but the funny part is you look at comparing the Caddy to the BMW of the same year, like it's comparable to like a 3 Series. You compare the two of them, and the Caddy's faster, which is weird because you'd expect it to be backwards.
So, George, what color is it?
Black.
Oh, okay.
And it also
easy to keep clean.
So you got it from what? A funeral home?
Yeah, Kelly, from the director, actually.
It's still got one of the little flags on the hood.
Well, it explains why those little purple lights in the windshield.
Strobe lights.
Yeah.
George, don't let them make fun of it because Cadillac has done quite well in the sports car racing at the 24 hours of Le Mans and stuff like that. So,
I mean, it's a smaller engine, but it's got sport suspension and everything else, and it's a good. Obviously I've driven it already. Like it's a great car. So I'm super excited.
That'd be like buying a Mustang with a 4-cylinder engine in it.
I would never buy a Mustang with a 4-cylinder engine in it. That's the point.
Easy there. Easy now. It's a turbo. Easy.
Chris, you want to know what else is turbo?
What did you say? What did you say, George?
I was saying to Chris, I was like, you want to know what else is turbo? My brain after coffee.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'll have more torque.
Yeah. Well, you want me to give? You know what? I do impressions of engine sounds. You want me to give you an idea what it's going to sound like when George pulls away from
please inundate me.
A stoplight. I'm up to 30 miles an hour now.
Well,
a Cadillac with a 4-cylinder. Wouldn't a lawnmower be faster?
Well, they're big cylinders.
Lionel, I'll tell you what. I'll race your lawnmower, and you can tell me how you're doing from pushing it while I'm sitting here in my air-conditioned seats.
Air-conditioned seats. That's sweet.
Don't get too excited. Those air-conditioned seats aren't what they're cracked up to be. I have them in my car, and all it does is it cools your butt. That's it. That's the only part of the seat that gets.
I've had them once before in an Audi I used to have, but it was better because it actually came all the way up your back. The whole seat was ventilated. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's kind of a gimmick.
Mine does not. I mean, the
Yeah.
heat's fine, but not the cooling.
Well, yeah, the heat's fine, but the cooling they actually have to have. You actually have to have like perforated leather for that, because otherwise it doesn't get through.
The knife was going through it a couple of times when they stabbed.
How do you know? How do you know? You sound like an. How old are you, Tom?
I'm going to be 50 at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? Those air-conditioned seats are no good because they don't work in my car.
Wait, no, hold on.
Well, and Tom,
get off my lawn.
Hold on a minute.
Tom, in all fairness to Tom, maybe they don't work in your car.
What day is your birthday again, Tom?
Tuesday the 28th.
Okay, so you're 3 days or 4 days before me. I'm on the 1st of August.
Wow.
The questions get easier as we go along.
In more than a few years, I would take it.
Yes.
But apparently George wishes he was 50. He's got the car for it.
Believe me, if I was 50, I wouldn't be driving a Cadillac with a 4-cylinder.
And he's starting out with cool cars when he's a youngin', like BMWs and Audis, and then he's going into Cadillacs.
All right,
I digress.
time out. Now I'm very confused. He says, when I'm 50, I wouldn't be driving a Cadillac with a 4-cylinder. What do you plan on driving when you're 50 if you're not going to be driving a Caddy?
Clearly a Mustang that's a 4-cylinder.
A Porsche. Oh, okay.
Porsche.
No, you're not getting a Boxster, are you?
No.
He's going to get a hover around.
We've been over this.
Well, okay.
No, don't rest assured. It's been firmly ruled out.
All right. Okay.
I think you'll be driving a smart car.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you guys. It's non-railroad related, but railroads do have traction motors. They use diesel prime movers to create power for the traction motors. Here's a particular thought, and this is working because we're taking everybody's minds off the world around them today, and they're listening to this and having a good chuckle, I'm sure. So I have this thought in my head, and maybe I'm way off base, but and I thought my air conditioned seats worked, but apparently they don't. Am I completely off base here? Or does it not? It seems to me that everybody that's bought a Tesla is going to end up with a car full of dead batteries, and they're not going to be able to use them. The resale on these things is going to be very low, if not great. Like, who's going to buy a used electric car? Anybody?
Well, I mean, right now, like Ottawa bought, the city of Ottawa bought hybrid buses, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, I think. In 2012, so I guess about
8 years ago. That would be
8 years ago.
That would be 2012 from 208.
And they're trying to get rid of them all right now because they're only 8 years old, but they all need battery replacements. And they've decided it's cheaper to buy new buses than it is to replace the batteries. So it begs the question, like, if electric cars have to have the batteries replaced, like, that sounds like an expensive thing to do. You almost be better just getting rid of it.
Yeah, I the people that I know anyway, and again, remember, I live in small town middle USA, whatever that means. But the people that I know that have bought those types of cars don't really care about the resale. I mean, they will pay more money because of doing what they think is the right thing for the environment. That they don't, which doesn't make any sense because what they are doing is they're buying a disposable car. Then, if they don't care anything about the resale, it's ultimately going to go to a junkyard somewhere. But in their mind, anyway, they are trying to.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's what I don't get. Okay, so, and don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely in favor of doing what we can to help the environment. 100%. There's no question about that. But
right.
What people forget is that when hybrids and electric cars get made, there has to be all kinds of valuable minerals and metals that go into making the batteries and other high voltage components. That's extremely taxing on the planet.
Yeah,
like we're talking about like stuff like nickel or platinum or cobalt. You know what I mean? Like that's hard stuff to get.
They also forget that you're burning fossil fuels when you're charging those batteries in most cases.
Right.
So
well, yeah, that's it, right? So
it's like that one electric station out in the middle of the desert being run by a diesel generator.
Yeah.
Personally, I think what's going to make the biggest difference across the board is going to be when we can finally get our power grids over to green energy. That's going to make all the difference in the world. When we can get rid of like all the coal and all the I don't know if I'm not a nuclear expert at all, but if we can go to alternative energy for those, I'm sure that'll make a massive impact. Because then we're supplying everything with green energy too.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that makes you go,
Where we are in 100 years will be probably nowhere close to where we are now.
I'll be dead,
Who's to
so
say,
it
right?
won't matter
I don't
much
care.
to me.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't plan to be very concerned with what's going on in 100 years.
Well, what about your grandkids and their grandkids, your great grandchildren? That's kind of really seriously. Our grandfather was known as the queso cowboy, but he didn't. The only two things he cared about was his air conditioned seat didn't work. All right,
but you know what I mean, though, right? Like, who knows where we're gonna be? You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. But the best thing I heard was something to do with about planting it. The best thing a person that plants a tree with whose shade it will never appreciate is showing that they're thinking about the future of others. And I think that's interesting. That's kind of way off topic, but now we have silence.
Well, what I really want to see,
the energy thing that I want to see is the thing where they do the, I don't know exactly what it's called, but where they use the ocean, they use the waves in the ocean.
Tidal power.
Yeah, I guess it's the kinetic energy of the waves or whatever to generate electricity.
Yeah.
What I really want to see for cars is there's a method now. There was a lab somewhere in British Columbia on the west coast of Canada that was working on it. They were working on pulling carbon out of the atmosphere and turning it into fuel. And it was something like 104 octane, super, super good fuel, and it had zero emissions. So I want to see where that goes because they actually have made it like it's tangible. They've actually made it and put it in a car. But I don't know if it's like high volume yet or anything like that. But it'd be really, really cool to see where that goes.
Yeah, the question is, what does it take to make it? That's the thing.
Well, that's it, right? Because it depends how expensive the process is.
Right.
So just getting, and George, no, all kidding aside, kudos to you for letting us rib you about your car and all that, because I am very impressed with the fact that you have this ability to search and find great deals on cars, and I appreciate you allowing us to give you the raspberry about that, because I think you should be commended for. I know you're a young man that's trying to make the world a better place, and you should be commended for that.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's all like it's a 4-cylinder Cadillac. Like let's call a spade a spade. You know what it is, but it's a nice car, and I'm super excited to have it.
Yeah, and you should be, because it's a nice car, and it's a really good. You got a great deal on it, like super good deal, and that's only because you are, you put some effort into trying to find a good deal, and that's to be commended. Any young person nowadays, any young person in any generation, I'm always impressed with people who are constantly trying to better themselves with some enthusiasm. So
the bottom line is finding good deals takes legwork.
It
you
doing
can't just sitting nowhere, right? So
yeah, exactly. Well, and you're always a good sport about us. Will you be wearing those big, those big old wraparound dark sunglasses that you see old people wearing?
Believe me, when we have lunch, if I don't get out wearing white Nikes and a visor, I'm going to break that
polyester pants
and powder blue pants.
Yeah,
and a hat and a little striped hat.
A little striped
hat. A hat like that, you get a free bowl of soup.
And when he's
like a big Ted Knight in Caddyshack.
Yeah, and the only thing you can see when he's going down the road is his head.
Yeah.
Hey, does it have memory seats?
It does.
I bet that's a sweet ride. All right, and so just quickly, how are you making out with being the official FedEx driver of the AML network? Is it hard for you out there, or what's happening?
Things have slowed down a little bit over the past week or so. We're starting to catch our breath a little bit. But I'm actually starting. I don't think I'll be able to listen to this in the truck tomorrow, today, because I'm going in early to start my first day as operations manager.
Oh yeah, so that's finally coming to fruition, is it?
Finally coming to fruition after 2.5 months of dicking around.
That's a promotion, right?
It is.
And you'll be behind a desk.
Congratulations.
What's that, sorry, Bruce?
You'll be behind a desk.
No, I'll be mobile, but I'll be able to work from home most of the time, which is super great.
Wow.
But don't get me wrong, it's still high stress. But having the flexibility is going to be something that's really, really good for me, considering I've got my little guy at home, and my wife works so hard to make a good home for us that I try to help her wherever I can, and if I can not be at work for 12 hours a day, that'll go a long way to helping.
So you're not going to be driving a truck anymore?
Only when I have to. I mean, I imagine I might still go out once or twice a week if it's really busy. But I mean, most of the time, no. The whole idea is that I won't have to go out, no matter what my boss. That we're doing this so we can hire more guys and increase our workforce.
Cool.
It is very cool, and you should be proud of yourself for doing that too. You're a fine young man, Mr. Taylor, and you should be proud of yourself.
Well, I keep hanging out with that Strang guy. I don't know what my wife's going to say about that. But
yeah, stop hanging around with that. You're not hanging around with that Strang boy, are you?
We're proud of you despite that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm moving along here quickly because we got to wrap this up because this is going to turn into a 3-hour podcast, which Derek Tucker will be happy with. Little Mike will be happy with. Ron, so you are a pastor at the local Baptist church in El Dorado Springs. I know that's been very difficult for you. Not difficult in a way of being a pastor, but it's difficult dealing with the COVID thing and looking after your parishioners. So what's happening on that front?
Well, it's interesting. Again, being in small town, Midwest, we get a lot of diversity of opinion. I'm sure that's true everywhere as far as how seriously we should take this whole thing. So I decided months ago that I'm going to take, since a percentage of my congregation is older folks, that I'm going to take better care of their health while they're in my building than maybe they would themselves. So it's been an interesting challenge, but we're plugging along, and we're gonna get through this. But it's always a little bit of a political thing.
What's been the hardest thing you think since in the last 4 months for you?
Well, the hardest thing as far as the ministry part is concerned is the fact that the people who normally would be the people that you were really there for most, you can't be there for. In other words, I can't go in and make hospital visits. I can't go see people who are in the nursing home who are things like that. Normally that would be a big part of my week, and haven't been able to do that for a long time, and probably won't be able to for some time yet. Other than that, as far as on a personal level, it's just again kind of the stress of trying to make decisions about how we do what we do in order to keep everybody safe, and at the same time not have a lot of people screaming at you from one side or the other. And basically, it just boils down to you just have to decide which group that you want to let scream at you. So,
you've put a lot of your sermons on YouTube. How do they find those?
Well, we've been doing them on YouTube, live streaming our services on YouTube. And back when we were shut down entirely, we were putting our services on YouTube. Our church has a YouTube channel. It is First Baptist Church, El Dorado Springs. If you search for that, you'll find it. We also have a Facebook page, and we link all those on Facebook, which is First Baptist Eldo, I believe, ELDO. That's kind of the short nickname for our town around here. And you can find those there. We put those up every week.
Cadillac makes an El Dorado, or they used to. That's very similar. I'm not sure if that's spelled the same, but
yeah, I think that's one word. That's part of our issue. We can't pronounce anything, and we don't really spell things right either. That's a Missouri thing.
You know what's funny? Our good friend Tony Cook sent me an ad today after I announced that I had bought the car. He sent me an ad for an '85 El Dorado.
There you
and
go.
oh man, that is a sweet ride. But it's a little old for me.
Ron, you are to be commended for the work you do, and I've watched some of your sermons, and I consider myself to be very fortunate that we found each other and could become friends and acquaintances the way we have. So, and you're to be commended. I know it must be pretty hard for you during this time.
It's been an interesting challenge, and a ministry friend, a person I would consider kind of a mentor, gave a statistic way back when all this COVID thing was starting, and talked about the fact that when crises like this happen on a large scale, there's a tendency for people who are in leadership positions in various social types of areas, including pastors. There's a tendency for them to survive the emergency, and then in another year they're gone. They whether it's a matter of burnout or whatever. So I guess my goal at this point is to give the best leadership that I can, and also to survive this thing. And I don't mean physically, but I mean without emotionally just burning out. So that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot harder for you than it is for a goofball like me, and you're to be commended. Anyways, that's why we're doing that. We're trying to give everybody a little bit of insight into everybody's life here, because we have lots and lots. We have thousands of people that listen to us, and thought it'd be fun, and uplifting, and I don't know what the right word is for people to hear direct from the horse's mouth, and Kelly, just so we're clear, by the time I'm getting to you, I'll probably have run out of compliments.
What else is new?
All right, Chris. I know work is hard for you too, because you're a lawyer with the Connecticut legislature. Although you probably don't want to let him find out about the whole headset thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll be playing this for him.
yeah. Ixnay on the headset thing.
Yeah, I'm not a tech guy over there.
Yeah. So how has it been for you?
It's been very, very different. During the time when this first came out, beginning of March, it was funny how it kind of rolled out up at the legislature. Monday the 9th, we started hearing rumors that we might be taking Thursday and Friday off while they cleaned for this virus thing, which at that point, a lot of us were still just starting to hear about. By Tuesday night of that week, it was definitely out Thursday and Friday. And by the way, special session tomorrow, Wednesday, and after session adjourns, everybody's to evacuate the building so that they can get started cleaning. And so that morphed into come weekend, don't come into work on Monday. We're still cleaning. And it was kind of rope-a-dope for about 5 or 6 days. And, here we are. And it's been since then, and we haven't been back. I mean, I've been back to the office once to pick up some files. And April of an even-numbered year, April would be by far the busiest month of the year, 20-hour days, 6-day weeks, really late nights. And it was none of that. We were all working from home. And then we would normally adjourn the first week of May in an even numbered year. And then it'd be like dropping off a cliff. All those 20-hour days and late nights and everything would just stop. And then everything would be, summertime, and especially in an even numbered year, it's campaign year. So, a lot of people would be going off and starting to do campaigns and fundraisers and stuff like that. But it hasn't let up. It's been the same moderately high level of activity, which was great in April because it was a lot easier than April would have been. But it's been steady busy a lot of the time. So one of the committees that I cover is the labor committee. And so the biggest challenge that I've really had is dealing with Department of Labor and the unemployment that's come in. The department's had 5 years worth of unemployment applications in the matter of 8 weeks. They've been totally overwhelmed. The feds have passed some relief packages specifically for unemployment and that sort of thing, which have been glacially slow to get to people through our state's Department of Labor because they've been inundated. And unfortunately, we're on, especially my wife working in the Senate as a legislative aide, she gets it full board because she deals with the public and the constituents directly. I get to deal with the legislators who are themselves dealing with the constituents. So it all kind of flows around. But, like everybody else, we all have our turn. We're doing our thing. And it's been really nice to work from home. It's been a great proof of concept. It's been something that's been toyed around with for a long time. And I don't think I'm alone in saying a lot of people are surprised pleasantly that it's actually worked out well. And on the other hand, this business, and to a certain extent, it's not unlike what Ron deals with. It's a people business. You're shaking hands. You're in close proximity. You're dealing with people on a face-to-face basis and having to talk to them. You're not talking to them through a mask, or when you are now. But how do you even do a legislature in this kind of an environment? And so Connecticut legislature isn't alone, along with all the other ones across the nation that are trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we do this? How do we do this going forward, especially now that it's looking like it might be lasting a little bit longer than some folks may have anticipated. So, but all in all, I mean, mentally it's been fine. It helps that, I've got a spouse that works in the same building, so we can kind of commiserate one with another. It's not like she hasn't any idea what I do and vice versa. So that's kind of nice. And I try and get out on my morning rides when I can, when I'm not up too late the previous night trying to figure out how to use my headset. It's nice to get out on my bike and ride a little bit.
Have you done something to your sound? Because it seems a lot better.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think I've got a narrower jaw now, so it's the ears have moved forward, and no surgery was required, so it's all good.
You're looking better all the time.
So yeah, it's just all up. It's all uphill from here.
So when you say your wife and you work in the same building, are you talking about your house?
Yeah, right now it is the house. I mean, her office is about 30 feet away, not even 30 feet away, about 10 feet away. But in Hartford, yeah, she's on a different floor, but it's the same building. So,
okay. All right, I got a question for you, but I'm going to ask Tom first, and then you can chime in too. So Tom, you're in the insurance business. You've been working from home.
Yep.
How do you find this whole thing? Like, what have you found that's been difficult? What have you found that's been the most difficult? Like, try to explain to people, you're some sort of insurance executive. You and I, if we went to a Flyers game, I'd be throwing beer around. You'd be trying to pretend you weren't with me. I don't.
That's about right.
What's that?
I said that's about right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you wouldn't leave me. You wouldn't leave me in the parking lot, but you'd wait till all the other cars had left before you let me get in.
Sounds like the voice of experience.
Yeah. And the first thing I'd say, Chris, you know what the first thing I'd say?
What? These
air conditioned seats don't work. My friend has a caddy in his work. So anyways, Tom, if you could give everybody a brief synopsis of what it is you do and how hard or easy, if it's been easy, that's good too. Hard or easy for you going forward during this last 4 months.
Yeah, it's I even before the current situation, I used to work from home a couple days a week. So the concept of working remotely isn't a big deal, or it wasn't a big adjustment for me on that front. What was a big adjustment was that it was only working from home. Like, I haven't all of my meetings, all of my discussions with clients and with my team and things like that have all been, like everybody else, or like most everybody else, I should say, have been completely virtual since March. It's been either conference calls or Zoom meetings or WebEx or what have you. And that's taken a little bit of adjustment, to get used to, it's just been, it's interesting. I was talking to somebody today, and they said that, they've been working at home, and some of their guys are less busy working at home because their job has changed. I've been every bit as busy, in terms of the volume of calls and meetings and emails and things, through this, than in a normal time, with going to the office and whatnot. So, of course, a lot of that is because I deal with health insurance, and a lot of the employers I work with and a lot of people, they obviously have questions they want to know about, what to do for their employees as it relates to COVID-19, and then the inevitable follow-on question, how much is this going to cost me? And, so it's been, the conversations we've been having have changed, and I'm rambling. Yeah, it's been fine. The hardest thing is making sure that I'm staying in touch with everybody, because I don't see them in the office, checking in on my folks, every so often throughout the week, just to check in, make sure they're okay, make sure they're managing everything on the home front okay, things like that.
So do you find it harder working constantly from home, or would you sounds like you're kind of like Chris, where you'd prefer? So the question I was going to ask both of you, because both of you guys are working exclusively from home. Ron gets to go down to his church and works from that office, and George is out on the road, and we haven't got to. I know Bruce works at his office, and I know Kelly gets to get out. So you two guys have worked exclusively from home. Do you find it hard to stay motivated?
Not hard to stay motivated, but I will say that I do, and I never thought I'd say this, because I have about an hour and a half one-way commute to my office, and that kind of sucks, but it gives me a chance to catch up on podcasts while I'm in the car. But I actually do miss being in the office and with my coworkers in the office, because there's always times in the day where you can get up and walk down the hall and pop in on somebody if you have a question or you want to talk about someone. That face-to-face interpersonal contact, I never thought I'd say this, but actually I do miss it.
Okay, so you're able to stay motivated, but you're not particularly thrilled. You wouldn't like to see this be the future forever.
If I worked from home, let's say if I worked from home 4 days a week and I went into the office one day, I'd be okay with that, as long as I got some in-office time, I guess I'd say.
Right.
Working at home permanently for the rest of my working life, no, I think I'd go nuts.
Okay. Chris, what about you? Are you able to stay motivated?
Yeah, it's well, it has nothing to do with my own self-motivation or discipline. It's really because it's still so fairly busy. It's more reacting. I get calls from the legislators and from different agencies and stuff, and so that's fairly constant through the day. And when it's not, I'm trying to keep my folks up to date as to what the latest updates are from the department. The other main committee that I'm on is the transportation committee. So a lot of the public transit has gone through a huge upheaval over the last few months, and so they're just starting to come back a little bit. So it's still kind of reacting. I really like working at home, and a lot of what I do as far as good substance, whether it's the research or writing up summaries and memos and stuff like that on different pieces of legislation, that's all stuff I can do wherever. The only thing is that sometimes I need some hard copy files, which is why I went up to the office that one time to retrieve those. But other than that, I can do everything at home. But the reality is that the business that I'm in, if you can call it that, is everything to do with timing, with who you happen to see in the hallway, who you happen to bump into at the railing, the frankly underground intelligence, to over dramatize it a little bit, that you just get through osmosis, through just being in the building, isn't happening right now. And so it's not, and that's not something that you can replace. That's something that has to happen up there. And without that sort of sixth sense that you get from just being up there and being around the people that you have to build relationships with and negotiate with and that sort of thing. I mean, there's just no way that can happen when we're in this kind of a situation. So that's what a lot of folks are in our building are struggling with, is trying to figure out, including myself, is trying to figure out, okay, well, how is this going to look long term? 3 of our 4 leaders in the legislature have announced that they're not going to run again this year. So there's going to be a huge upheaval in leadership in the legislature. And, a big part of that is, a lot of people are going to find it very hard to campaign. How do you go door to door? You don't. Maybe you do you do social distancing, but it's just the nature of that whole business is evolving. And I'm not sure where it ends up. But as far as, my day-to-day job, I could do it pretty much anywhere, but I'm not getting the benefit or the value, kind of like what Tom was saying. I'm not getting the benefit or value of being in the building, being in proximity with folks and continuing to develop those relationships. It's just not happening.
Right. Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
So you've been able to stay at your job pretty regular through.
Yeah, because we are classified as an essential service because we do work for municipalities keeping water supplies in good working condition.
And so have you found life to be pretty much normal as far as that?
For me, it's been pretty normal because I go to work every day and I pick up the mail every morning and do what I have to do and come home. The one who's had a difference is the lovely Jean because she's at schools. She's been working from home, and her life for the last few months consisted of some Zoom meetings in the morning with staff, things like that, and then she had meetings with her students throughout the day. So she was busy all day long, but differently, doing meetings via video conferexing. But I know she misses being with the kids and stuff like that. But for me, it's been pretty much life as normal, except if I go somewhere, throw a mask on if I go into a store. I had to get my glasses fixed the other day and had to make an appointment to go in because there's limiting other people in and things like that. But really hasn't changed a lot for me.
Okay. Would you be terribly offended if I've noticed that, I don't know, maybe you're a bit more strikingly handsome with a mask?
I am fully cognizant of that fact.
Okay.
In fact, when I have my bandana on, it's particularly striking, like I'm ready to knock off the 8:15 local.
Oh my! It's funny. It's funny you say that, Bruce. On Friday, I had a work session here. Val and John came by, and we started working on this lift out section, and we decided we needed to make a run for the local Ace Hardware store. So we all got into the car and we drove to the hardware store. We pull into the parking lot and we're sitting there in the car, and all at once, all three of us reach and put our masks on, and it literally felt like we were going in to rob the place.
Yeah, it hasn't been much different for me. I've been wearing masks for years. That didn't. Oh man, the problem with stuff that's not edited. This is like 3 hours of unedited stuff. So some of the stuff that you hear that you don't like or isn't funny, just pretend you never heard it. Okay, Kelly, you're up, buddy. Yes, the reason I'm leaving you to the last is because you worry about everything.
Oh yeah.
You only see the downside of everything. You're constantly concerned that the world's coming to an end, and I love you bunches. I love you bunches. I love you bunches. You are one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. I love you bunches, but I'm always worried that you're always concerned about, if there's a report that there's a meteor the size of, a football field going past the planet, and it's going to miss the planet by 1 million miles. You're desperately concerned that it's going to hit another star and bounce into the Earth. So how are you handling this mess?
I think I've been pretty lucky. One of the things that I found out the other day that they talked about the symptoms, and I think this thing has been around since last fall, and I may have gone through it in Christmas time, and because this diagnosis nurse had a Facebook entry really fit the whole symptoms plus what the doctors thought it was, and I'm going, oh, that's great. But I've been pretty lucky. Got laid off from Microtrains for a month or so, and then kept working at Campbell's because there's just two of us up there. So I've been pretty lucky. The one thing that I'm really sad about is the fact that the park is closed and people are not being able to go out and have a good time, for free, basically. And right now we're going to be closed for the season. We're not going to open up, and the train show is in jeopardy. We don't know if we're going to come out of phase 3, and if the only way you come out of phase 3 is if there's a vaccine. So the possibility of next summer not being open is a, there's a probability there.
See, now that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where are you getting this? That the only way we'd ever come out of stage 3 that is that there's a vaccine. There's no guarantee there will ever be a vaccine.
Well, that's true. That's what I don't look at it like doomsday. I look at it. Well, what are some of the facts that are in front of us, and say, okay, what are the odds? The odds of coming up with it, etc. What's the documentation that's coming from the state capitol? Based on what's coming from there, is that we can't deal with the social distancing if we were to be open. So that's that's the sad part.
There's got to be something wrong with me. I mean, let's cut down to brass tacks. There's got to be something wrong. While you're worrying about all this stuff, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, are there any brownies left?
Well, I've gone through in the past week or so. I've gone through a whole bottle of cheese balls. So
there you go. I don't know. Well,
but on the brighter side, we did start a GoFundMe.
Okay, for what?
For the park. It's called. You go to GoFundMe.com and look up and search for Support the Park. You will see our page for raising money for the park to hopefully get us through this season and possibly next season.
Okay, I'm going to do that right now. GoFundMe. And I'm going there, and I'm going to see if I can find it. Because if I can't find it,
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
We're actually our secretary's in trouble.
Yeah, let's see if I can just find it. It should be easy to find. I'm going to go to GoFundMe.com because I'm north of the border. Then sometimes it doesn't want me to. It'll go. Do you want GoFundMe.ca? No, I don't want GoFundMe.ca. I just want GoFundMe. Period. End of sentence. All right. So now I've found GoFundMe. Now I'm going to go to search. And what am I searching for? What do you want me to put in?
Support the park. Support the railroad park. Sorry.
Support the railroad. Should I put spaces in there? Maybe.
Yes.
Support the railroad park. Mm-hmm. How do you spell park?
STEVE.
All right.
I was going to say with a Q.
Results for Support the Park. Are 63 results found. Oh, but the first one up is Support the Park, Medford, Oregon Railroad Park. Look at that. Boom. And you've already raised $925. Look at that. Holy mackerel. So that's cool. So, and it's under GoFundMe.com /F/support railroad park. So if you put in Support the Park, on GoFundMe, you'll find it. And so far, these guys have raised $925. And primarily, most of this money is going to upgrade the radar equipment so you can stop speeders on the 7.5 street.
It's actually going to pay for all the insurance, the maintenance, the fact that we have lost income because we're not getting donations because the park's closed, and the possibility of the show not happening.
All right. All right. So already, and how long have you guys had this going?
It's been going since Monday, I think.
Wow, you want to raise $50,000? Holy mackerel!
Yeah, that was the number they came up with.
Wow. When I started for this year, I got my one more year thing going, and they wanted me to come up with a number, so I said $9,342. Well, why is that number? I don't know. You wanted a number. There's a number. Quit asking me questions. Okay, so are you going to survive this thing, Kelly?
Oh yeah, I'll survive it.
Yeah.
Then the meteor will come.
Okay.
All right, last question. This has gone way longer than I wanted, but I'm sure it's fun. You guys are always fun to talk to. We got to realize that, man, we've been doing this for 6 years, and you guys are always fun to talk to. You enjoy giving each other the raspberry. You let me give you the raspberry. We always have fun, and plus we always end up talking about interesting stuff. So the last question of the day for each of you is, and we'll start with George again, how has the hobby helped you in any way to get through this mess?
If you don't factor in the impulse buying, no. It's being able to sit here and work on my stuff is, hugely entertaining when there's not much else to do, given the fact that there's such a lack of outdoor or outside the home activities. Really, not so much now, but especially like in the first few months, being able to sit here and work on my stuff and finally get to some things I had put aside for so long. It really helped. Absolutely, it did.
Give you. What was your impulse? What kind of impulse buying have you done?
Well, you start looking at estate sales and stuff online.
Well, let me help you start. Let me help you start out. You bought a Cadillac.
I did. I guess that kind of encompasses all the trains into one, and then some.
And then what are some of the train things you bought?
Well, I picked up a second Royal Hudson. I picked up a few passenger cars, a few different brass items that were going for really cheap. I just, but you start to cruise all this stuff during the day because you're bored, or you're at home at night because there's nothing to do.
So you saying that? Are you saying the caddy dealer is selling brass as well?
Damn! I revealed my secret.
That's what he told his wife.
Don't look in the trunk. No, but I've been working so much overtime, and I haven't stopped working the entire time this has been going on, like we've said before. So I mean, with so little to do, it's not hard to take care of everything day to day, and then you're kind of stuck with like, well, what can I do? I can, get bored, hop online, look for some deals, and see what there is out there to help grow my collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and work on stuff, and then it comes. But you got to be careful not to get carried away with, purchases. You got to work on stuff too. But you've enjoyed.
Oh,
doing
of course.
that.
And I mean, like I've shut it down now. Like I haven't bought anything in quite a while. I'm quite happy with what I have. But it was nice to be able to have that freedom to look for a little while and find a few things to add on. And now I'm getting to working on all of it and working through it slowly. And it's making it all unique and making it all my own.
Didn't you? So you've shut it down, the spending, you said?
Yeah.
I thought yesterday you bought a Cadillac.
That's kind of a separate thing.
Oh, okay. Well, when you go to Larkspur Line, which is a hobby store which is owned by your godfather,
it is.
How do you think you'll get there?
In the caddy.
Yeah, there you go. You're just going to ride. You're going to ride in style now.
You know what? I'm going to publicly declare on the air, live and in color, in front of everybody. Tom, if I show, I'm definitely driving the caddy to Tom stock. That's no question about that. But if you get in the car,
you better leave now.
And
he's pulling away. He's pulling away from his stop light.
I can tell you. Man, I gotta find a tune or something I can throw on it so you guys, I can surprise everybody. If I get the Tom stock and you are not satisfied with my air conditioned seats, I will publicly apologize in front of the entire crowd.
Hey, Kelly.
Yes, sir.
I just donated to your park.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Would you believe me?
The park appreciates.
Would you believe me if I said I donated the rest of the $49,000?
Oh yeah, that would be really. That would. I'll tell you what. You did that. I would. Pay for airfare.
No, the question is, would you believe me?
No.
Attaboy.
But I would pay your airfare to come down and make you an honorary member of all the clubs.
Yeah. I you know what? I supported your, I have trouble supporting I have made a lifetime out of perhaps observing. I've always observed the speed limit, so I cannot support your habit of being the radar guy, the traffic cop at the Medford Railroad Park that much. I gave a donation, but I'm not buying you a new radar gun.
No, we already have it.
Yeah, I know, but you'll want more. You want more.
No, I'm happy with what I got.
Hey, Ron, how's the hobby been helping you out during this?
Well, I have long said that model railroading is the thing that keeps me sane. It's been therapy for me for 25 years. And that has been no less true, certainly, over the course of these last 4 months. Been able to spend some extra time, certainly on the hobby, but also on the video thing. And it was really rewarding for me, especially during those first couple of months of the shutdown when everybody, it seemed like, was at home. And all these model railroad guys that were at home were looking for some model railroad content. And so, the viewership on the channel was really up and people were really appreciative of having that content and some extra content there just to kind of, occupy their time with something that connected to their interest at a time that was maybe a little stressful for them. And like I said, when they're stuck at home with nowhere to go. So that was a little extra rewarding, for me as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I don't know what I would have done without it through the course of these last 4 months.
That's good. And have you done any impulse buying?
I probably did some impulse buying. I did not buy a Cadillac, but
but you bought a new Ford. What did you buy?
Escape. Yeah, that was a little bit before the whole thing, but
okay.
But yeah, I did buy a new Ford Escape. That was last fall.
All right. In anticipation.
Right. Yeah, I foresaw the thing coming. I didn't tell anybody because I wanted them to be surprised.
So you've been working hard on your YouTube channel and you've been doing really well on that. And you got me to sign up for. How do people sign up for the extra part? They go to YouTube and what do they do?
Well, if they go to any one of my videos or to my channel page, right below the video, there's a little blue tab that says join. And if you click that, it will call up a page, has a little video kind of with a description and also a written description of channel memberships and the things that you get for the various tiers of channel memberships. And from that, you can make the choice whether you'd like to become a channel member or not. There's a second button there to click to do that.
All right, cool. Chris, how's the hobby? Has the hobby been a help or a hindrance to you during these 4 months?
It's been a huge help for a lot of the reasons other folks have been saying. As far as a nice distraction, it's always a nice escape, whether you got COVID or not. But I think the thing that's really had a huge impact is because of the explosion in use of Zoom and teleconferencing and all this stuff that's been necessary because of the work side, it's all exploded on the hobby side too. So I feel, even though I felt pretty connected to others in the hobby before this, that has just been amped up on steroids in the last few months, with between the NMRAX and you guys and the different podcasts. Like Ron was saying, there's a lot more content coming out, and that seems to be continuing.
Hold on. There's other podcasts?
Well, no. Just hypothetically speaking, there's a lot more content coming out, and so there's a lot more opportunity to connect, or even if it's not more opportunity, more awareness of the opportunities that might be out there, because you're in a situation now where you might be seeking them out where you hadn't before. So that's certainly been true in my case, and becoming even more connected and being able to do the Patreon chat and different Zoom get-togethers. I mean, heck, I even threw out the other night on Thursday night for my Thursday night photo library guys. Said, let's do a Zoom thing and have a virtual photo library get-together because we haven't been able to get together for a long time. Just one guy took me up on it, but that's okay. I'm not going to be disappointed. At a party, and nobody showed up. That's okay. I'm not hurt. But I figure it's because the guys that know about Zoom probably do it all day and they're sick of it by the time they get home, and the guys that don't do Zoom are figure it's too hard to start. So that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to.
You know what? I think if we could explain to people, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking we are going to end up with 2 separate shows here that we're going to release. We still got another little bit of work here to do because obviously this is turning into a mammoth thing. So I think I'm going to split this in half, and we'll release one show at 3:00 in the morning and the other show at 12 noon, because this is great conversation. But I think some people are missing the point of Zoom. Because we've had, we do our virtual chat for the Patreon members on Wednesdays. And even when we, some weeks I try to, like Chris, you showed us your layout one week, and, Tom, you showed us your layout. And even without that, we end up with 20 or 30 or 40 people coming in and out of the room over the night. And it's a real connection. And not just and I think people need to, those that aren't sure about it, you just need to put in a little bit of elbow grease and make a point of doing it, because it's, it's a fun way to connect with people. I think it's overkill if you're doing it every day, which we did when we first started, but then we went to just once a week on Wednesdays, and everybody seems to really enjoy it. And I think those of you out there who aren't doing Zoom, not just the AML one, but any Zoom, like give it a shot, and because it's a fun way to connect with people. So that's
it was pretty cool. I mean, I was, kidding aside, I was slightly disappointed because it was kind of neat to have the window up. I was at my workbench. I was just kind of doing my thing. And then, it was exciting when somebody showed up and knocked on the door. It was kind of goofy, but when somebody actually showed up, and then he was actually up in New Hampshire, and he gave me a little tour of the lake cottage that he's always told me about. This is one of my Thursday night guys, and we watched the fireworks over the lake. I mean, it was really cool, So
it would be cool,
kind of bizarre, but yeah, I think you're right. I think more people ought to try and do that, and I mean, especially during social distancing. I mean, it's the ultimate social distancing, right? I mean, you're not even in the same proximity, but you're still able to connect.
However, I do insist for the AML Zoom meetings that everybody wear a mask.
Yeah, that'll really degrade the sound that I've worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
Masks are mandatory. Pants are optional.
Mr. Jacobs, how has the hobby helped you get through this last 4 months?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The one advantage of not having the hour and a half commute has been that I have 3 hours extra in my day. And I've tried very hard not to let that be entirely taken up just by working longer hours. So I've had a fair amount more time to work on, some hobby projects, little bits and pieces for the layout. I've been continuing to experiment with the laser and things like that. So no, it's been awesome.
Yeah. So you would recommend to people to buy a new laser printer because that's what you did. Was that an impulse buy, or was it a planned buy, but you just threw in the towel and bought it early, or what was it?
I had been toying with getting one for a while, and this kind of just was the thing that just convinced me to pull the trigger.
Right. And it's been nothing but a plus, right? You've enjoyed it immensely from what I can tell.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's been it's been, there's been a lot of cool stuff that I've made. I made some engraved yard limit signs and some engraved station signs that are eventually going to find their way onto the layout. I've also made some cool, personal things. It's not. There's other things I can do besides trains with it. So it's been great.
Where's your keys right now?
They're in my phone wallet keys box.
Where's your wallet?
In my phone wallet keys box.
Phone? Where's your phone?
Here on my desk in front of me.
Attaboy. Yeah, because you posted a lot about that laser printer when you got it. I mean, you're pretty much posting every day, constantly, several times a day. I mean, you just constantly post and post and post and post. Look what I did now. Oh, look, I made a keys, wallet, and phone box. Oh, look what I did now. I mean, it's just constantly posting. It was really, really enjoyable. Oh my God, I thought I was going to slit my wrists.
Wow.
Jeez. That went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Facebook does give you the option to snooze and unfollow if you don't find my posts. I mean, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but if you don't find my posts to your liking, I won't cry myself to sleep at night if you choose to unfollow me.
I would never do that. And of course, the same goes for you as with everybody else. You've been a great pal and you're a great sport. And I do, it's fun. I want to get you on here talking about, actually, we should get you on the virtual chat and explaining, giving everybody, but it's in the garage, so you won't give us a tour of the laser.
Well, actually, I spent a good portion of my vacation this week cleaning the garage because what I want to do, because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to move the laser out to the barn. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have it permanently set up along with the 3D printer in the garage. So I've been doing a lot of cleaning and reorganizing in the garage to try to make like a little permanent maker space, if you will, so I can have it out there. So maybe by the time Tom Stock rolls around, you guys can get a tour of the laser and the printer and all that, in addition to the layout.
Well, we're going into your garage. Like, that's a given.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, so do you post most of your stuff on the Reading Crossline Facebook page? How's that going?
Oh, it's going well.
Yeah. That was
In fact, I posted some stuff today. I have to go back and put all the captions in for the photos.
Yeah, and that was a great idea you came up with.
It was a flash of genius.
Yeah, what the hell was I thinking?
We have 519 members right now.
Oh no, now you need 520.
I know. I need one more. I need one more person.
And that's your cutoff. Bruce, what about how's the hobby helped you? Has the hobby helped you get through these last 4 months?
Yes and no, because of, you recall, there was an incident last year, so majority of my hobby stuff is packed away in
that's right,
somewhere in Mississauga. So I've got a few little things here and there, and not doing too much because I don't have too much to do.
Yeah, so that's something that we could just briefly talk about. I mean, your house caught on fire, and fortunately you got out, and there was no personal injury to anybody, and all the pets got out, and everybody survived. But there was a great amount of damage to your home, and you lost a lot of your contents. By the way, just offhand, Bruce, when you ran out of the house and you grabbed a T-shirt and your sweatpants, what T-shirt was that you grabbed?
It was my mother's Life Marginally Adequate for 4 years, that sort of goldenrod color one.
Ah, okay, well, that's a good idea. So how is that going? How is the rebuilding of your home going?
Right now, all the brick is pretty much ripped off, and we're going to replace all the sheathing on the upper floor because of smoke damage and stuff. And then when we got the brick off, we found out there's a bunch of holes in the sheathing on the lower floor where critters and mice or something that chewed through. So that's all got to be replaced too. So all new sheathing, and then they'll wrap that, start working on the brick. The roof is probably going to be done within a couple weeks. They did all new HVAC last week, putting all the ductwork in. They got plumbing roughed in for the new plumbing upstairs, and we're just going along. So hopefully by the end of September, we're back in.
And so it has been harder for you because you can't just grab your hobby stuff and give yourself something to do. So getting through the days aren't as easy as they could be without the hobby.
I'm sitting here looking at my tool chest and stuff like that. I really got nothing to work on in it. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, you need to get Tom to cut you some laser kits, and
there you go.
Yeah, and then he can post more stuff on his page with his laser, and more photos and more captions. Oh my God, it just never ends. I'm kidding, of course. You know that, right, Tom?
I do.
Yeah, okay. And Chris is still waiting to get a message to see when the show starts.
I'm just glad George did it. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad George did it. Thanks, George.
I regret
nothing. Okay, Kelly, you're up, buddy. How's the hobby helped you, and has it helped you get through this time?
I think it has. I think I'm echoing what Chris talked about. The technology, being able to do the Zoom and the Facebook, and now with the NMRAX videos. I mean, it's overwhelming with information and camaraderie, and looking forward to hearing more stuff and seeing more stuff. So it's helped a lot.
Has anything in particular jumped out at you that way, or is it just the whole general overall excitement of being able to stay in contact with people?
I think it's just it's a good substitution for not having that contact with a lot of people, because like today, if we'd be open today at the park, it would be meeting, walking through crowds and crowds of people, and answering questions and stuff like that. But I don't have that now, and now I've got the capability of talking to people all over the world, and it's just, or letting them hear me talk. So I think it's a wonderful thing.
That's a whole roundtable discussion. Hey, George, what we should do is have like a big roundtable discussion about the future of the hobby and how it's impacted by the internet and what we think is going to happen, because I don't think any of us can even possibly comprehend. And you're a young one, so it'd be interesting to have you as part of that.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this up. Bruce, Kelly, can you Bruce, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have Kelly give out our email address.
So if you want to reach us by the wonders of email, you can reach us at modeler'slife@gmail.com. That's modelers with one L like railroad, not two L's like Kelly.
Okay. So I think this has actually been Let's Hug It Out number 5. We actually did 2 Let's Hug It Outs in the same day. How cool is that? Because I don't want to push this farther down the road. Although we could, but I think we'll just do them both on the same day. To heck with it, because it's unedited stuff. What do you guys think? I have enough material now for 2 Let's Hug It Out. So this is Let's Hug It Out number 5. Should we do 2 in one day, or should we put this one?
Just jam it out there in one mega episode. That's my vote.
Or do one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
All right.
The afternoon will be a surprise.
Well,
More hugs are better.
All right. Yeah. So, okay. So what do we do? Do we do one mega episode or 2 separate episodes? You guys, let's have a straw poll here. We got 6-7 votes, so we can definitely have a decision. So, Ron, what do you think? 1 mega episode, 2 separate episodes on the same day?
I say 2 episodes with the surprise in the afternoon.
All right. Tom, you're for 1 mega episode?
Yep.
George?
I'm going to have to go with 1 mega episode too.
Okay. All right. So far we got 1 vote for 2 episodes, 2 votes for 1 mega episode. Chris?
2. I like the surprise idea.
Oh, it's 2-2. All right. Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy?
I'm going mega.
Okay. It's 3-2 for the mega episode. Kelly?
2 with a surprise.
Wow. 3-3.
So in looking for some help, it comes down to you anyway.
Yeah. And I don't want to have to decide. We're going to have to, have you guys ever see it here?
We're going to have to caucus.
Yeah, you ever hear of the movie 12 Angry Men? Well, this is 7 Angry Men.
7 Angry Men.
Ron, what do you vote for?
Didn't I already vote?
Well, we're going around again until we either convict this guy or not.
Oh, man.
I'm
Who's going
sticking
to be the
with 2.
weasel to change his vote?
I'm sticking with 2.
You sticking with 2, Tom?
Sticking with 1.
George?
I'm sticking with 1.
Chris?
2.
Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy?
3.
Oh, darn.
No, put me in the mega camp.
The mega camp.
Get one big one out there, and they'll be all surprised because it's a big one.
All right. And Kelly?
I was going to say 3, but Bruce stole my thunder, so 2.
We can stay here all night, boys.
Actually, we could all hang up, and then you'd still have to make the decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's an idea. If we just leave, we'll
Yeah.
have to do it anyway.
Kelly,
And then they'll be surprised to everybody.
Kelly, your microphone's getting farther and farther away from your mouth again. Can you keep your?
I banged it again.
Well, how can you bang? Nobody else is constantly banging their mic.
Well,
I got one guy. I got one
Move
guy
your
that
ears forward.
Yeah, I got one guy that puts it on backwards. Another guy that's constantly banging it and moving
Well,
it.
at least Chris didn't put it upside down.
Yeah. How are you moving it? What are you doing? Were you put on this
Well,
point?
I think it bangs my shoulder when I look down.
How the hell can it bang your
Yeah.
The mic bangs my shoulder when I.
What, do you got, a
down and
12-inch mic on it or what?
Yeah, I got the company
or a
mic.
1-inch neck.
Yeah, what do you got, a 1-inch
No
neck?
neck, man. No neck.
Just take that microphone and move it closer to your mouth.
No, then you say it's too much.
Just move it closer to your mouth, because keep moving it.
Pop.
There.
All right. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Don't ever move it ever again.
And we got to find out.
That's perfect. Your sound is perfect now. Now you're just angering me.
No, you didn't get any echoes tonight.
I know. What did you do?
I don't know, but I've been watching the mic icon on my screen, and I could see it go on. The green my mic was picking up stuff, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
Oh my God!
So, anyway.
have a podcast. They said it'll be fun.
It'll be fun. They said.
So my vote is 2.
All right, all right.
Why don't you take a quarter and flip it?
All right, hang on. I don't have a quarter. Who's got a quarter?
Use a dime.
Who's got a coin?
You have to do it though.
Why do I have to do it?
Because
you're the outstanding vote.
Yeah, you have to do it.
I don't have a coin on me.
Oh no, you should do. You got a poker chip.
Where? Are you here with me? Do you see it? I don't see it.
Don't you have poker chips nearby?
No, I'm in the studio. I don't keep any of that stuff in the studio. That's all in the stock room.
Oh.
All right. What are we going to do now? You guys got to come up with something because I'm not
agonizing over how many episodes to make this. Pretty soon is going to take up its own episode.
Bruce will get his way. 3 episodes.
So make it 1 and get over with it.
All right. Yeah. Well, right now it's at about 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Will this be the biggest AML episode ever?
This will be the biggest AML episode.
Well, there you go. You plug it as the biggest AML episode ever because we needed a giant hug out. It's AML Hug Out 4.
All right.
It's one big bear hug.
All right. Here's my deal. If you guys will do an intro like that, I will make it 1 episode.
All right, done.
We're good for that.
All right.
Tom's got the pattern down perfectly.
Yeah,
He's
really.
going for that one.
Commercial.
He did the Sunday DCC racing one, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. Yeah. Can you do that, Tom? When we start again?
This is going to be on Monday.
This will be tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow, which is a Monday.
Monday.
Amish drag racing.
Amish drag racing. And we have a website. If you go to modelerslife.com, this is a free podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, it may be the one and only podcast you ever listen to. Derek Tucker should be thrilled because this is like the mega episode of all time. And hopefully we've made somebody feel better.
Just think how many miles Rod Diary will be.
Rod Diary, you're going to have to report in. This is Rod. This is a special assignment for you. Take a picture, right? Rod, take a picture right now. Rod, stop your grader. I don't care if you're leading a parade of 3 graders. You're in charge. Stop your grader, jump out, and take a picture and say, "This is at the end of the Hug It Out 4 mega episode." Boom. And Rod, buddy, this is it, buddy. This is your super fan moment. This is your super fan moment. At this moment on this podcast, if you stop that grader and get out and take a picture of yourself and say, "This is the Hug It Out number 4 mega moment where I became a super fan," boom. You're a super fan. You'll have to bring all those graders to a stop, all that crew to a stop.
Get a picture of that too. Yeah.
Shall I pre-print the certificate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. That would make him super fan number 38.
It would.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. See, we've accomplished something here.
There you go.
There's always something to accomplish. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think we got it all. So, all right, who are we going to pick to take us out of here?
Jacob. Oh, no.
Chris.
Yeah, because he finally, after years and months, he figured out his microphone. Are you ready, Chris?
Sure.
Given this awesome privilege, and that's all you've got?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
There you go.
Send me in, coach.
Yeah. And remember, Chris, when the boys are up against it, and the brakes are going against them, and things aren't going their way, tell them to just remember to win one for the Gipper. Win one for the caddy. So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
headphone microphone testers.
portions of this podcast was sponsored by Pakalana Inn. Pakalana Inn is located on the Big Island of Hawaii in historic and beautiful downtown Hilo. Our 5 bedrooms are recently renovated and feature modern conveniences of home. Every room has a view and the staff is
marginally adequate.
Check us out at pakalanainn.com.
It's another Lincoln Homer.